When you tell yourself, I have to go to court on someone else's invitation, you are saying, I am that other person's slave. That is what you are.
And they got the authority.
Now, when I file a claim and I make a state actor the defendant, and they say I have to go to court, they are my slave because they are the servant. Do you understand?
Hey everybody, how y'all doing?
Hello, hello, hello.
Hello.
Greetings.
Hello, Copper.
Hello, blessings and greetings.
Greetings all.
Hello, everyone.
What up? What up?
What's up, McReal?
Homie in the house.
Let me tell y'all something. I know I didn't spend a lot of time on this last week, and I did not. I only mentioned it one time, but say thank you to my boy McReal that came on and shared last week about the disqualification of the judges. Shout out to everybody who has taken advantage of it. I'm gonna show his McReal 10. Let me put his Cash App in the chat.
We like the kind of jingles, but we'd rather have the kind that folds.
Pocket money.
Was that Coming to America?
Yeah, I think that was. I think that was Coming to America. We
Yeah,
appreciate the
pass it
kind of
around the
jingle,
block.
the kind that folds. That's what's up. Yeah, so shout out to everybody who did send a donation. If you missed it, you definitely want to go back and watch last week's call. It's just as powerful, if not more, than the attorney no authority. So just let me get into today. So welcome everyone to today's call. Today is the 10th day of the alleged first month of the year of 2023. For everybody who is done any kind of research, we're aware that although it might be the beginning of the fiscal corporate commercial new year, as far as January is concerned, everybody in real reality knows that nature tells us when the year actually renews. And so we all know we got at least 8 more weeks. Okay. At least.
At least.
Okay, hallelujah, hallelujah. But I don't make it a big deal. I hope you guys don't ruin otherwise great relationships because of differences that like that. Shout out to the people who know why it matters, but let's have grace for the people who don't. So since we were together, we've had a couple of wins that I want to share with you guys. I do my best to put the wins in the success stories group. So if you guys peruse the success story group, you'll see most of the wins. Sometimes you might have to search hashtag success stories to find the ones that might not be in the success story group. But I just want to let you guys know you are doing amazing. Even for those of us who have had setbacks, like our guy Skyer this morning, that was kicking ass. They did an illegal removal from him and his family from their home, including his dog, which he just recently got out the pound. He texted me just now that he was able to get his dog. Yeah, they didn't send him anything in the mail. Allegedly, they just put it on the record and then showed up at his house without giving him any kind of 24-hour notice or 3-day notice or whatever. And so, although it is a horrible setback for right now, the good news is he already has his claim in. That is the good news. And he will also be able to modify his claim. What is it called? Amend. He'll be able to amend his claim. And he'll be able to add the woman that showed up today from the corporate entity that allegedly bought his house, because, okay, corporate entities can't own houses, right? This is what everybody needs to understand. Corporate entities cannot own houses. Corporate entities can only hold the buildings and equipment that are relevant to their actual operation of their business. And this is why sometimes you'll hear us say, I mean, for a lot of people who have not taken our classes, it might seem like an inside joke, but whenever an LLC or any type of corporate entity claims to hold a property, we always tease and say, does it have an open, so fluorescent signs on the front? Does it say open? Does it have a bank drive-through if a bank is allegedly trying to buy it or own it? Because 12 USC 29, 12 USC 29 tells us that banks cannot own any property that is not literally a banking building for them. That you better have that a teller and all that shit. Okay. As we know that we're facing complete and utter ignorance more than criminality. Now, some people are involved that are criminal, but primarily we're dealing with straight up ignorance. So I wanted to get that out of the way. There were a few minor mistakes made on his end, but of course that does not justify them doing that illegal removal today. But like I said, he got his claim in. I hope he puts a 1 in the front or a 0 in the back when he amends his claim, because they are offering him just compensation right now. They roped in the sheriff department, which is why he's also amending his claim to include the sheriff's department, because the series that we've been going through the last few weeks, I hope you guys are becoming keenly aware of, and I'm talking about everybody on here. No one left behind. We don't want any scragglers. We don't want people saying, oh, I'm still confused. Please go back over the last 8 episodes that we've done so far and watch from there. We should all be on the same page right now, which lets us know that city officers can only deal with what kind of property?
City property.
City property.
City property. And county agents can only deal with what kind of property?
County property.
County property. And state agents can only deal with what kind of property?
State
State
property.
property.
State-owned property. Same thing with the federal. We have to start making these connections for ourselves so that we can start connecting the dots for the agents when they try to talk to us. So the question is always, you have to find the parts of the code that say it. It will be in your what do they call it? The charters. You want to look for your city charter and your county charter. You want to look for the words property of the. You will not see property in the. And their mistake is because we might use a mailing address that says blah, 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 county, blah, 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 state, right? That it means that it's not just in it, but it's of it. And although that might seem like semantics is very important here. I'm telling you guys exactly where to look. So some of the wins I want to highlight to you guys. We're going to actually show it. We're going to go to the success story group. Yes, semantics is very important. People try to act like it's not. But I can definitely tell you, when I was growing up and people were telling me, you should be an attorney, you should be a lawyer, it's because I was sticking on the semantics. I was letting everybody be very clear that words do matter. The terms that you're using absolutely matter. And hey, we got our events posted. I think we need to do some more of that. Okay, so we're here on the success stories group. Some of them I missed, so forgive me. So this is one from 2 months ago. But what we're going to do is we're going to go back to where I was sharing. One thing I want to tell you guys, this is a big deal right here.
You're on Telegram, Malika. Telegram screen is showing.
I'm on Telegram? That's weird. Because I didn't even pull Telegram up. Thank you for that. Shout out to YouTube Trading Brigade for helping Skyer this morning.
Hey,
That's awesome.
I called the court and I got a copy of a dispossessory writ, so to speak, and they're saying that there is no affidavit to support. There's no affidavit on record.
What?
Great. Great.
I'm shocked.
They never have any. There's
No,
never one.
the thing is, remember, there was an affidavit that wasn't signed, right? That was posted on the door.
Yeah, but that was supposed to be for the complaint.
Yes. So for this dispossessory action, the lady is telling me that there is no copy, there is no affidavit to support this document here.
You see, guys?
You know what they
Absolutely
do,
no
Malika?
affidavit.
What?
The form actually has a, so the court form has like a fake affidavit and it says, once you say that there's an affidavit, that's it. Like you just sign the little box, and that is it's like that's not sufficient because number one, that's a court form. That's not even the person's own words because that person cannot speak. So how they gonna make an affidavit on the penalty of perjury?
Right.
They never
And
have
that's
any.
probably why they're not signing it, huh?
How
They didn't have one for
Hey,
Fred either.
they're gonna
Because-
even initiate the case.
Say that again, Charles.
Said how they gonna even initiate the case with no authority?
Exactly. And that's what I'm saying. They're offering him, they're
Just
offering themselves up on a platter here, guys. That's what we have to realize. Although it seems like an unfortunate situation to have to go through the removal, you have to understand the evidence that he has now that is going to justify him putting a 1 in the front of his case or a 0 behind it. Everybody understand what I'm saying?
Yes.
No.
Yes.
If anybody doesn't understand what I'm saying, I'll be happy to explain. When they
Explain,
do things,
please.
when they do things without proper form, okay, they have writs appearing without affidavits. They have clerks signing writs without authority to even open the case.
It's
They-
over
This
before
is why
it's
it's important for us to know what the steps are supposed to be if it's legitimate. So that when they skip steps, we know exactly where to attack them.
and they're not ever gonna get authority because they don't want to be liable for the tax.
That's why they're absolutely never going to get any authority because they would be liable for the tax. And who wants to be liable for tax for tens of thousands of doll hairs?
So whatever they would apply to you, they would have to take care of, right?
Yep. Everything goes back to pay the taxes, guys. And that's why Article 1, Section 8, Clause 1 says Congress shall have the power to lay and collect taxes. They don't necessarily talk about the price, right? They don't talk about like the cost of the thing that they then add taxes to because the whole thing is a tax. The cost, whatever they might add on and say is the tax, is a tax. That's all Congress is there collecting. So they try to avoid the tax by skipping steps in the process so they still get the funding to support putting people out. But as we know, the sheriff is not supposed to be at your house unless it's county property. So that's strike 1 right there. That's it. They got clerks signing shit without writs. I'm so glad, like again, that you were available, Trading Brigade, to help him out.
when I call the sheriff's office, the lady told me, hey, you just call the court. Call the court. Call the court. She couldn't answer.
She could not answer, but she works at the sheriff's office.
Call the court.
Yeah, but she works at the sheriff's office. She's supposed to know. That's why they can't have people like me working in those places. Somebody will call. I'm the clerk. Somebody will call. I'll bust out my clerk book. What's that? Tell me again. What section are we looking at? Oh, I'll be the first clerk to get fired. You're not supposed to be looking at the books. You're just supposed to do what the attorney tell you. No, no. Y'all know that's why I can't work in places, right? I asked too many questions when I was working at the bank. They were like, get her out of here. She want to know why we robbing people.
Don't feel bad. I never.
Because even looking at the document, Malika, I think I am highly doubtful the signature on the document is for the chief magistrate, as it's saying.
Oh, it says chief magistrate because the reason why they probably have to put the chief magistrate is because he added the judge. He added the regular
No.
judge.
No, in Georgia, whenever you go to the magistrate court, the chief magistrate, so they have a stamp. He's not even in that office. He's actually in the district. So they take his stamp and they stamp the documents. It's not even a real signature because the chief magistrate is the one that oversees all the documents. Supposed to be.
So who has authority to use the chief magistrate's stamp?
But
All
it's
the
not a
agents.
stamp. It's not a stamp. It's not even a stamp.
Yeah.
Well,
matter of
who
fact,
has authority to use it is the question.
They just slide the paperwork to him after the case or whatever, and then he'll stamp off on it. That's how they do it in child support. They'll have some bum on the bench, and then after the case is over, some other motherfucker will stamp off on it, so you can never tell who it is.
and how do you know it's a stamp? You go pull their the fake oath that they signed by the probate judge, and you'll see it looks exactly the same. You put an overlay over it, and it looks exactly the same. It's a stamp. It may be blue ink or whatever. It may not look like
Mhm.
it's original, but they
Okay.
use stamps. I'm telling you, because when I called magistrate court, they tell me that judge is not in that office. He's in the district. So how did he stamp that
Right.
paperwork?
They send it over or some shit type of shit like that, but whatever. Maybe his clerk or secretary will stamp off on it, whatever. You know how they do.
But yeah, but that's impersonation.
I could
That-
Oh,
share the
that's
screen. I could share the
that's
screen for a minute, Malika.
say again.
If you don't mind, I could share the screen for a minute.
Okay, let's save it for a second. Let me just go through some of these success stories that we missed. We also have Champ on. I'm not sure if Samaya is here, but I wanted her to share a little bit today too, because Samaya used, just so you guys know, she used to work in a district attorney's office for 5 years. Do you think she has something to tell us?
What? Definitely.
She used to work in a district attorney's office for 5 years. Do you think she has something to tell us?
Definitely
Oh,
she
yeah.
does.
Okay, so this is what we're doing here, guys. I want all 90 people that are on this call today to understand exactly why these agents are not supposed to be talking to regular people. This is the most paramount thing that anyone can understand and internalize for the rest of their life, because we have to get it out of our minds that just because we're alive and we're here and they're alive and they're here, that just means they can start talking to us. They can start saying, go here, go there, come to court on this day, show us your children, bitch. What?
Right.
This one's gonna
Right.
show you. We have to get the fear out of our hearts and out of our minds. We have
Say
to
that.
get this indecisiveness, like, oh, well, what am I gonna do? Kick their ass. That's what you're gonna do. You're gonna write them paper and tell them, if you cannot show me, first of all, you're gonna say, what? Since slavery and involuntary servitude is illegal and unlawful, would have to give you consent to even speak to me initially in the first place. That's the thing you guys have to get into your head. If you don't get this into your head, you're always gonna say, I have a court date, they coming for me, all this bullshit.
But what if I give the ID to the fake policy enforcer and make a mistake in contract?
If you gave your ID, what was it, your membership card? Did you gave them, they asked you, are you a part of our club? And you gave them the card that says you're part of the club? Because I don't have any cards that say I'm part of their club.
No.
Exactly.
So
I
even
like-
if I gave them ID, it's not going to be their club ID. They're
I
not
like
going to
to
be able
say-
to say, oh yeah, this matches our records.
I like to say, just bully them. Just bully them.
You got to bully them. You got to bully them.
Yeah, that's what they're trying to do to you.
Yeah, and you have to speak with them firmly. You have to know there are people out on this call right now that are not convinced that they're not slaves. Lots of people on here still think they are a slave. And I know that you still think you're a slave because you say slave shit.
But let me call you up and ask you for some money, and you gonna tell me go fuck myself. But as soon as I put on a suit and tie and get the little government number, you gonna treat me with respect.
Yeah, you're gonna start gnashing your teeth. They talking to me. What should I do? Ask them why the fuck they talking to you. Since slavery is illegal and unlawful, one adult needs permission from the other to speak. I hope we're all clear on this. Seriously.
Emotional outburst to your wisdom. It's like that whole circle thing again. I kind of looked at it like this before class started. I was like, if I looked at Serco like a corporation of butlers and maids, since when do they have the right to tell the people that hire them what the fuck to do? They're butlers, they're maids, they're public servants,
They're servants.
right?
Yeah.
Alleged.
But
right?
we see ourselves as below them. When we recognize our own lack of knowledge, our own ignorance of why things are happening, we are unfortunately left with the slave mentality. I don't even know what else to say. As soon as we are not aware of that simple fact that Hassan just said, if they are the servants, they have to have masters. And I'm not saying I'm their master, but I'm not
I am.
their servant. I'm not the secretary. Okay? That's what y'all out here trying to be. You trying to be the servant of the servants. I'm not a servant of the servant. I'm also not afraid of being arrested because I'm not afraid of suing. I'm not afraid of suing. I'm not afraid of shooting. Okay? Because the castle doctrine is real.
Say it again, Malika. Say it again.
Yeah, the castle doctrine is real.
Doctrine.
When we get to the point where we're willing to shoot at the sheriffs, there might be a shootout. But guess what? After the second, third, fourth one, they're going to not come because you're going to tell them before you get there. You're going to show them the documents, their documents. And I know a lot of people are cynical and they'll say stuff like, oh, well, they don't follow their own rules. Yes, they do. They do follow their own rules, especially when you show them the rules that say not only what the rules say, but the fact that they have to be acting in good faith. Everybody always asks, well, how do I enforce this and enforce that? You have to understand the power of making them knowledgeable. It removes their ability to claim that they acted in good faith. And that is what fucks them up. Those little magic words, good
Yes.
faith, bad faith, it matters. If the documents that we've been pulling up, and I hope you guys that are on here still have your charters and the parts of the code that I've encouraged everybody to pull them up because I'm gonna ask people to say, tell me the part that you found that says property of the county, rules for the government as it reflects in the federal. So someone says here, what do they say? I'm new to this law stuff, but I'm fighting a debt collector via court, an old credit card debt. And after fighting back and forth with them, but I think I scared the attorney away. I send a specific negative averment. These things work, guys. It's a technique that's right in their codes. They don't like to tell us this. Attorneys don't like to tell us this because, of course, they want to keep us ignorant so they could beat us up. But when we learn to read, and not just learn to read like at, cat, bat, because that's how some of us read, unfortunately. We're still reading at, cat, bat, and we look at these things and we're like, oh, help me understand. Read one sentence at a time, reference words, look words up, etc. Get your bearings. All right? He sent a specific negative averment document combined with the debt impossibility. So they use two of the documents. It's not debt impossibility, but it's payment impossibility, which is, I mean, it's so good. All right? To the court and the attorneys, and he hasn't heard from them in 3 months. That's a win. That is a win.
Mm.
It's as if they're scared to respond to my letter, and the court hasn't said one word since. They granted the judgment against me. They're not gonna do shit. I thought I lost, so I sent the letter as my last shot, and I believed it worked. I'll take it as a win.
Awesome.
All right. So what else do we have? And these are all that came in since, like, well, not all of them, but I missed a couple. So this right here, I just want everybody to know, this is our friend John. This was sent on like Friday. Well, I think it was sent Thursday, but I didn't see it until after we got off the call. And this, when he says Rule 12 hearing, I just want you guys to know that the motion to show authority is called a Rule 12 hearing in Texas. It's you should read it in Texas, but not just read it in Texas. Find it in your own local code. Now, we have a thread that is in our group. It's in the Beat the Bar group because, of course, that's the most relevant group. Excuse me. But when you find that part of the code that talks about the attorney to show authority, it's either gonna be under the section that's called attorneys at law. You might find it typing in prove authority attorney and then your state, but it's gonna be someplace under there. Every state that I've looked in so far, at least a half dozen, has something similar, if not exactly like Texas. So again, it's called Rule 12 in Texas. It's called Rule 330 something in California. Most places, it's just in the statute under the attorneys at law section or something like that, or prove authority section or something to that effect. And it will tell you that they have to prove authority when challenged because authority is only presumed. This is very important because their authority, they figure if you don't challenge it, you presume they have authority. When you say things like, I have a court date, you are presuming. Are you not? Are you not presuming the court has authority to
Right.
call you into court when you start
Mhm.
saying, I have a court date? Are you not presuming?
Wazi.
Yeah, exactly, because everything is quasi. Just tell you guys about our other inside joke. Everything is quasi until you challenge it. And they know that you're totally hypnotized when you don't know that they're not supposed to be talking to you. When you start saying things like, well, I wasn't driving that fast, or I was wearing my seatbelt, or I didn't roll through that stop sign, or I'm a good mom, right? I pay my child support. You know, how is that any of their business if they're not supposed to be talking to you?
Right.
Well, you just made it real.
Yeah, they made it make
they're-
real.
Debt collectors, all of them.
Did you
All
say
of them.
shit like
They're
that?
all
Nigga, look.
collecting a debt previously contracted. And the best part is we had to have given them permission. Because why?
You give them permission when you answer shit like that there.
We had to have given them permission because slavery is illegal and unlawful.
You actually just made it Mick real. Not really real, just Mick real franchise.
Yeah, make real, quasi.
Malika, does it read something like no person shall be permitted to practice as an attorney or
No,
counsel?
no.
That's not it.
It
That's-
literally says prove authority, proof of authority. I mean, verbatim.
Then we already know if it's over a debt, there can be no attorney.
This one say Attorney Act. It says no states without having previously obtained a license.
No,
Okay.
look
Okay.
at this in front of you.
Okay.
Okay,
Okay.
this is the result of a Rule 12 motion to show authority.
Okay.
Okay,
All right.
when you read Texas Rule 12,
Okay.
you will know exactly what it's supposed to say. You will know exactly what you're looking for
Okay.
because
you.
the words are going to be in there.
Okay. So-
Okay, why can't I spell? I can't spell, y'all. I don't know what's going.
Oh, small things.
I can cuss somebody out, cuss attorney out on paper, but I can't spell proof. Okay, so here we go, guys. I broke it down by state. Please come into the group and add if I don't have your state in here. In Alabama, for example, because I'm trying to put them in alphabetical order, it literally says authority of attorneys in case. I made it a hashtag, but I didn't write this. This is the Alabama writing it. I'm showing you guys in every single court, in every single state, you will have a section that tells you how that the attorney's authority is only presumed. And it's when it is just like jurisdiction. Jurisdiction is presumed. But if you tell yourself, well, they know the law, and so if they think I have to come to court, it must be true that I have to, because, I don't know the law, they know the law, and they're telling me I have to do this.
Grow up.
An emotional outburst add on to that wisdom is their presumption is based on their bullshit doing it in good faith. I yield.
Exactly. This is why we remove the acting in good faith first. It is literally mandatory. And I know it sounds like a little thing, but it is a huge deal. The reason
Yes.
our notices work And people are like, oh
Yep.
shit, the attorney stopped coming after me because now they're like, fuck, how am I gonna do the next step and pretend it was in good faith?
Yeah, they can't.
Oh, wow.
Exactly, they can't.
Yeah, that shit violates federal law too. They say
It
there's an
violates
attorney
it
after a death.
literally violates federal law when they have a notice. So Skyer, and I talked to him this morning just so you guys know, and we're considering either modifying his current case or making another case. Like literally another one just for them.
Well, look, it's Illinois on that list.
Maybe because
Because
I
I'm-
found a bunch of them. Like I said, this is what you have to know what to look for so you can find it.
Okay.
You have to know what to look for. This literally says authority of attorneys. Alabama was just like, we ain't even gonna play around. Authority of attorney.
I think when I looked for the Maryland State Republic, it kept bringing up power of attorney.
Yes,
for
you
every
want
type
it.
of-
Sometimes it's
yeah,
under
same individual.
powers of attorney.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
sometimes, like for real. So here we go. Alabama calls it authority of attorney. This is the section. It says an attorney has authority to bind his client in any action or proceeding by any agreement, which means it has to exist, made in writing. What? Or by an entry to be made in the minutes of the court. Wow, you got to be on the record. And then look at this section that says proof. They said this. I just put it as a hashtag, but it's written exactly like this. Authority of attorneys in case proof. A court or judge may, on motion of either party, and on being shown reasonable grounds therefore, this should sound very familiar because this is exactly what it says about the judge's authority. On motion of either party, and on being shown reasonable grounds therefore, require the attorney for the adverse party to produce or prove the authority under which he or she appears, and until they do so, may stay all proceedings by the attorney on behalf of the party he or she assumes to appear. The oath of the attorney is presumptive evidence. That means it can be rebutted just by us challenging it and showing reasonable grounds therefore.
So you could really kill him with the FDCPA and the state one right there.
That's right.
That's like a boxing. That's a boxing right there. You can't even get around 1692E2 or 3, whatever it is.
Or
and
one
the
or
state one.
6092
But
J.
yeah,
I mean I
because- yeah, well, yeah, the legal action, yeah. But you got okay. So if you got the state one right here, telling them that they got to for the attorney, and then you come back and it's so you know it's over a debt, and then you come back with the FDCPA, so you just forced them in the box to violate the federal law.
and that's exactly what we want. We want to box them in. And we have to
Goodbye.
stop self-confessing. I will ask people, so were you driving? You know, people will tell me, yes. Were you
Yeah, I like
driving? Yes. Okay,
Yeah.
so how much were you getting paid an hour?
Yeah. That's a boxing with the state, with that state, and then you use the federal. It's over.
So now, if you forgive us, Charles, you forgive us for taking 13 months to come back to your post?
Nah, I like them both. I try to use the attorney no authority too. Remember, I told you once.
I'm just saying, you forgive us for not coming back around?
Yeah, right. You're good.
Nick
I
Real was
like
like, it's going on years since I told them.
Wow, another emotional outburst add on to that wisdom there with since they want to use good faith, this might be advanced, I don't want to call it advanced, but full faith and credit according to Article 4, Section 4 of the Constitution,
Yeah,
I
Article
think.
4, Section
We-
4.
Yeah, when you utilize full faith and credit, that means even if you can't find the one, like I think Donna said, Illinois, you can use this Alabama one.
Yes, you can actually use, like, I think it was Am Woman. She put like, not this particular thing, but because she couldn't find it in her local state, she put like 3 different states' versions of it. You say
Yeah.
full faith and credit, and then you just put all 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 other states. Okay. Because it is that's how you do it.
You
Yeah.
can find their own decisions to do the exact same thing. The judges will be like, oh well, we didn't have that in our state, so we went to this state and borrowed their
That
whatever.
you're right.
and-
I've seen that in cases. I've seen that in cases where the judges will say, we look to this neighboring state to come up with XYZ. That's a good
Yeah,
point.
because they're saying this is saying you need a power of attorney to to have a for the attorney to have authority. Then when you switch to the federal, then there can be no attorney, over a debt.
Well, our state does say you need to give them the power of attorney to act. So is that the same thing?
No, we're not
No.
talking about over a real man or one. We're saying like
Okay.
over the bank or some shit like
Yeah,
that.
this
Okay.
this right here is asking them to produce a power of attorney. But what makes this great is that the power of attorney has to come from the minutes of a meeting where they got together and hired the attorney. You can ask for those minutes.
Well, I have them. I have a 900, and the only reason why I'm asking so many questions is because I have a 900-page transcript where I got terminated from a work situation, and they had a law judge that was in there that presided over the entire case. So I have the transcripts. I have 900 pages of him that the law judge, and it was actually a judge that ran. It was called an in-house appeal. So that's why I'm in the process of suing them now. So that's why I was asking so many questions.
Hey, no, it's no problem of why you asking the
That's why I
question.
needed me
It's
too.
just the thing about it is that I don't usually go through transcripts because what we're talking about all the time, what we're talking about 100% of the time is the beginning of the transaction. Transcripts are what happened after the transaction wasn't even supposed to be happening.
The AFL was in.
You
Somebody-
guys understand the difference? To me, you have transcripts, throw the transcripts in the trash.
Okay.
Because the beginning of the transaction is where the problem is happening.
Okay.
Right.
If an attorney does not have authority to institute a case, who gives a damn what the transcripts say?
But where's from the meeting of the committee that says
Yes.
here on line 35, we
Yes.
hire an attorney according to our commission.
Correct. Like that's what has to exist. I want the authority for you to act in the beginning. I want to visually see that because I don't care what you said after you never showed your authority.
So he's
Okay.
taking a shortcut. He's taking a shortcut to get the case started, and then he give it to the judge and then he takes a shortcut to get the case started. So there you go. Due process is right off the bat.
Right,
Okay.
due process violations. And that's very important because the process that's due to private people, and you guys can write it down, memorize it, take a screenshot or whatever. The process due to private people, y'all ready for it? The very first thing that has to happen, y'all brace yourselves, injured party. If you are a private, regular man and woman, you're not on the clock doing trade or business in the performance of the function of public office. The very first thing that has to happen, and if it's missing, nothing else can happen, is an actual injured party, a man or woman that's damaged. This is not sovereign citizen bullshit. If they don't have, if the first thing that happened is not a man or woman that said, Malika hurt me, right? If that didn't happen, due process, if they're doing anything else, due process has been violated. When you
Don't tell
state,
me that. Are you serious?
when you work for the state, either part-time or full-time or anytime,
Okay.
they do not need an injured party. They do. You hear me, guys? The only time
Right.
an injured party is not required is if you work for the state. And the reason an injured party is not required is because your dumbass is at work breaking the work rules. If you came to work out of uniform 3 times, I don't have to have an injured party to do something against you. Do you understand?
Same as like the blowing the whistle when you throw a ball in a basketball game. If you play for the NBA, only the ref can blow the whistle because you play for the NBA. If you're in the audience, and you
Right.
spit the ball on your finger, who the fuck's gonna blow the whistle?
Exactly. And that's what's happening. We're the audience, right? We're the audience. And sometimes the ball comes in our direction, right? And then we catch it and they go, foul. And it's like, I'm not in the game. Like, what?
Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
No, I'm because I have the ball in my hand doesn't mean I'm playing.
Right.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Ball game. So the damage is a damage. It's a demur. So if you're in that system, that's all everybody's doing, demurring. Okay, so they're injuring because they are saying they are having an injury. So they are the engine of the complaint. So if they're going to demur and mummer and stutter and stammer, you have to fall for that game. You have to enter that card with the club. Okay, they're clubbing each other. You have to have a card to do that, is what she's talking about earlier. So if you want to stay out of that, you have to know what she said earlier, the language that they're using and the semantics that they're using to stay out of it. You have to be sound of mind. That's the very first thing.
And yeah, we're not of sound mind. We got people got us saying all types of stupid shit. You know, giving ourselves legal labels, political labels. And I'm not saying not to be whatever you wish, be whatever. But guess
Oh,
what?
no,
It's
it's
not
straight
nobody
nonsense.
else's business. And because I think a lot of us be bored, we're just fucking bored, and we want to be part-time famous. So we go telling our business to these people. I wasn't going so fast. I did pay that bill. Like, what? Show me your authority, right? Remember that movie where they were like, show me the money,
Hey,
right?
McGuire.
We got to turn it around. Show me the authority.
Hey,
Give it
I'm a
to me.
I love
Talking.
it.
hey, I'm
Where's
a
the authority,
you-
motherfucker? Where is it? Where is it? Where's it?
I'm a universal
Keep killing
citizen.
Kenny in South Park. Kill Kenny. That's
Kill
actually a
Kenny.
word. Kill Kenny.
Do you
Marie,
see
I'm
what
a
it
uni-
says,
I'm a
right? Okay, so let's
universal.
go to California, because see, y'all not helping me. Everybody want to sit on their ass and wait till Malika finds it. I'm not doing it. I mean, I will do it, but I'm gonna do it when I feel like. I did this when I felt like it. I felt like doing it. So I went to California because I'm lazy too. So I just picked certain words like authority, attorney, and I put different states in. Do you see what it says right here? Attorneys and counselors at law. Look for that section. Look for these words. Authority, attorneys at law, counselors at law. It will come up. In California, it's part of the civil rules of procedure. It says the only powers that they have. They got 3 powers, and it's all about collecting on behalf of their client. It has nothing to do with them showing up in court and speaking on behalf of. You will never see in any of the sections an attorney can show up in a judicial court and speak on behalf of anyone. You will never see that. They can bind the clients to an action in court, and they can receive money on behalf of their client. You will never see, and they can show up in court and speak therefore. Do you not see that? Show up in a judicial court. You might see something about an administrative court, but you will never see them showing up in a judicial court. Okay, so here we go to Georgia. The section is actually called proof of authority. That's what it's called. Test my gangster and go look at it with your own eyes and know that this stuff is here. And ask yourself, why is these gurus that's charging people $8,000 to so-called correct their status don't know that you could kick an attorney in the nuts by just asking them for proof of their authority?
I told you I'm a universal citizen.
I gotta tell you, Melinda, I gotta tell you, I did this, and the judge covered for them. So be prepared for that as well.
That's why we're doing it for the judge as well, guys. Last
Right.
week, McReal told us about how to do it for the judge. This week, we're doing it for the attorney. Don't let the judge talk for the attorney. You disqualify you ask the attorney for proof of authority. The judge start doing this, get their ass too.
Or ask them to come down and swear in. I'm just
Yes.
joking.
Yes. You see what it says right here? The presiding judge or justice on motion, do not be afraid of motions. If you are afraid of motions, please go continue to follow those $8,000 gurus that cannot teach you how to get rid of a traffic ticket. That you get all this trust stuff and you think you're gonna write your children's names down in there and all this nonsense, and then you gotta call somebody else when you get a traffic ticket. The presiding judge on motion of either party, and just like it says in the other one in Alabama or Alaska or wherever we just pulled it up, says the exact same words, showing reasonable the grounds therefore may require an attorney who assumes the right to appear in a case to produce or prove the authority under which he appears and to disclose whenever pertinent to any issue the name of the person who employed him. and may grant an order that justice may require such investigations. Come on, Salsa, stay down.
So attorneys be assuming a position.
They be assuming the position. Stop, look, and listen, because all you getting is a kind of ass whooping.
Bend over. Assume the position.
And it says it's not necessary to aver the capacity of a party to bring or defend an action. The authority of a party to bring or defend an action in a representative capacity, or the legal existence of an organized association of persons that made it a party.
Okay, go read the whole section, even if it's in another state. Here goes Indiana, guys. Somebody asked. I knew Indiana was on here, but I just wanted to make y'all sweat a little bit.
You want to join
No,
the
I
party?
asked for Illinois, not Indiana.
Ah, damn. Okay, well, I don't have Illinois.
I'm still looking for Illinois.
I'm looking. I saw. I don't see it in Illinois. I'm looking while we on.
It's gonna be there because I'm showing
This
you
is what I
guys where
learned.
it is. I said what, 6 states? So what we covered so far: Alabama, California, Georgia. Here's Indiana.
What I
In
learned
Indiana,
about-
it's under practice of law by attorneys. And this section literally is called requiring attorney to prove authority. So don't let nobody tell you it's not somewhere in the code. It's in there.
And near the Illinois State Republic, what I've researched, when I even looked at within the state for someone that was dealing with something near the Illinois State Republic, what I realized, the one that we have listed on that list of within the state, it's not in the Illinois compiled statute. However, it's stricken out. It's a strikeout on the public acts. So you got to get used to what I think for anyone near the Illinois State Republic, when you're looking at the Illinois compiled statutes, go and look at what public act it pertains to, because the public acts are not omitted as far as the actual text. It's just the line going through it. And I think you can still invoke, even though they try to take it out of whatever particular ILCS it is.
As
I was
long as it
looking
hasn't
into
been
the,
repealed, you can find it.
It's in the public acts.
It's in the public acts. Okay.
Yeah, sometimes you'll go to the code and on the bottom of the code, they'll tell you the public act that it's related to. And if
Yeah.
you like copy that, paste it into a new tab and put PDF, sometimes you'll get the PDF of the public act and then you can read that.
And for
Okay.
Illinois, it's top. I think it's like links at the top, and on the left-hand side, it'll say compiled statutes and public acts on the left-hand side.
Okay.
And the brackets after each one will let you know where it's being pulled from. when you
Okay.
See
look at
right
the-
here? I mean, I can't believe this section is actually called that. Requiring attorney to prove authority. If the attorneys haven't proved authority, the court hasn't proved authority, the judge hasn't, you don't have a court date. You don't have anything.
Correct.
Unless, of course, you have fear in your heart and you're going to allow it to make you do something that you do not wish to do.
You got
Okay.
fear. Let it out.
It says the court or judge may, on motion of either party. Now we're going to start memorizing this stuff. On motion of either party with reasonable grounds. That's what they all say. For good cause, reasonable grounds.
Let me add.
Require an attorney to produce and prove. You see, they have it as two separate things: produce and prove the
Let me-
authority under which the attorney appears. The court may stay all proceedings by the attorney on behalf of the party for whom the attorney assumes to appear until the attorney produces and proves authority to appear. Don't tell me other states don't sound better. Because
Yeah.
everyone I read, I'm like, damn, this shit good.
So, hey, Malik, on that, as soon as they, especially over the debt, they'll come at you before they'll go to court. So in that they'll give you, you can ask, they'll tell you this is attempt to collect a debt, and you can, dispute and validate this, that, and the other before they make it a motion. So you could do this right. then
Yes,
and
we
there.
send it as a notice, Charles. We call it a notice to show authority. That's literally what we call it. And this is what has been getting rid of cases, which is why people would tell us, but I want the attorney to answer. So I don't want to scare them away. Like, this is how well this has been working, my people. the attorneys disappear. And it's like, well, I want the
Agreed.
attorney to answer because
Yeah.
they cannot, the authority that they need to prove, guys, I'm gonna show you. It says in the case law, it says that the attorney cannot just give an affidavit, because an affidavit without someone who's gonna come and be cross-examined is hearsay. Please write that down.
That's
If
correct.
and if there is, this is why people say, but I filed an affidavit and they ignored it. An affidavit is hearsay unless the person that made the affidavit or subscribed the affidavit appears to be cross-examined. If you don't appear to be cross-examined, it is 100% hearsay, whether you wrote it, the attorney wrote it, or anybody, or even if where it says produce and prove authority, there's sense. You have to know. You have to know. You have to know who can hire the attorney. It has to be a board level decision. The board of directors of the corporation had to get together at a minutes meeting, the minutes of which can be subpoenaed. Okay, through this
Yeah, so
motion to show
beforehand.
authority, they're supposed to produce those minutes where it says all who vote to hire so-and-so attorney say aye, and then the members say aye or nay, and you're supposed to be able to look at it. You have to know this.
Correct.
Yeah, Malika, individual banker here, and they have to be in the court to validate and verify what the attorney is saying.
Yes.
They'll never do this.
Now, let me
Okay.
tell you when it happened to me the first time. Everybody want to hear? Because I don't tell, people be like, I've done so much shit, I forgot to tell y'all. I've done that medallion stamp shit that everybody is like up and like trying to say woo woo is so like this and that. Guess how long ago I did it? 11 years ago. 11. Not 2, not 3, not 4, not 10. 11 years ago, I was already up on this medallion stamp crap. I'm gonna tell you why it didn't work. Okay. So when we did in the proof of authority to the attorney waited until the night before the hearing to put in an affidavit, a fake affidavit. That ended up, of course, being hearsay because the person who allegedly subscribed to it was in California and we were in Texas. So they were not available to come to court to be cross-examined. And because we just knew that it was going to work, right? We knew they couldn't show up. We were not prepared for when the attorney just slid the affidavit in there to say, objection, the affiant is not available to be cross-examined, therefore that affidavit is hearsay. You have to know that because we were not prepared. We just knew that the attorney wasn't even going to show up. But the attorney showed up. We weren't prepared. Why? Because we were doing this shit by ourselves. There wasn't a Malika around with 100 people on to be like, hey, guys, they put something in last night. But now we have this community and you have people like myself that actually did some shit. You can go to our record. It's still there. You can go look up the address, our name, everything. It's still right there in Texas. So you know we did this shit. I could tell you from firsthand experience exactly where we messed up. So you guys don't have to do the same fuck up, okay? Put in that motion to show authority. Here we go. Minnesota. It's under the attorney at law. Well, it says attorney at law authority. It even has the word authority in it. Attorney authority, Minnesota. This section here says proof of authority. A court, upon motion and hearing, when reasonable grounds are shown, may require an attorney to prove the attorney's authority to appear, and until such proof is made, may stay all proceedings by the attorney on behalf of the party the attorney assumes to represent. Any stage of the proceeding, the court may relieve a party from the consequence of the unauthorized acts of the attorney, and upon motion may summarily compel such attorney to repair any injury resulting therefrom. This is why Skyer still has a chance. You can still challenge the authority of the attorney at any stage. Do you see any stage? Any stage.
You can just put the birth certificate on the table and be done.
No, you gotta slam it on there. Wham!
Deed of trust. Stuff.
Slam the birth certificate on there. Nebraska, powers of attorney. One of the things I like about Nebraska when you go to this section is that right below it, it has case law. And it talks about the attorney being barred from showing up in court, because just like one of the other states above, these are the only 3 powers they have. None of it is going to say show up in court and speak on behalf of the client. See right here, to execute in the name of the client a bond or an appeal, to bind his client to an agreement, to receive money. Where does it say, and to show up in court and talk shit as if you're the plaintiff? Where does it
He's
say
a
that?
life-size pup.
A life-size puppet, right. But whose hand is up your butt? Your own hand? Because if somebody else didn't hire you, it's your hand up your own ass. Here it is, Texas Rule 12. My alma mater, where I cut my teeth on this bullshit called court. Attorney to show authority. I don't know if any other state spells it out that simply. A party to a suit or a proceeding pending in the court, any court of the state, by sworn motion. By sworn motion, my people. It got to be sworn, verified. What do you call it? Yeah, verified statement. You have to claim that you're speaking with firsthand knowledge and under penalties of perjury, under the laws of God, under something. You have to say that you're speaking with firsthand knowledge and you're willing to be punished if your statements are not found to be truthful. Stating that he believes the suit or proceeding is being prosecuted or defended without authority. So whether you're the plaintiff or the defendant, you can still challenge the authority of the attorney from the other side. Cause the attorney to be cited to appear before the court and show his authority to act. The notice of the motion. So you got to make a motion, and then you got to make a notice of the motion with the hearing. The notice of motion and hearing. So you got to make the motion, you got to make a notice of the motion and the hearing. So the notice of the motion shall be served. Texas goes all the way in. Served upon the challenge attorney at least 10 days. So some of us have a hearing on the 24th of this month. Get your attorney to show authority motion in today. Because you need at least 10 days. You can cause the attorney to appear and be cited to show his authority to act. The notice of the motion at least 10 days before the hearing on the motion. At the hearing, Texas be going in. At the hearing on the motion, the burden of proof shall be upon the challenge attorney to show sufficient authority to prosecute or defend the suit on behalf of the other party. Upon his failure to show authority, the court shall refuse to permit the attorney to appear in the cause and shall strike. People like to ask you this question. Some of us want to strike just what the attorneys are saying. We want to put in a motion to strike. Why put in a motion to strike what the attorney's saying when you could put in a motion to strike the attorney, period? And all of his shit gets thrown out.
Yeah.
Then they had the
That's correct.
FDCPA on him. Then they had the FDCPA on him. They can't make a legal action over a debt. It's over.
Right.
And
Court case.
all of it is a debt.
Forensic.
That's why everybody has to understand. When they're calling you for child support and CPS, they're saying you have a debt to the state. How did you get a debt to the state?
You can just say, are you willing to be punished if the fine is support that you are misrepresenting a client? Are you willing to be hanged?
Yes, like
Yes,
Hassan
yes.
says, what color
Yeah.
of noose would you prefer?
Yeah,
Yeah.
because when you said child support, like I said before, in that first sentence, when they open their mouth, they're gonna say attorney such and such for the state of such and such. That's
Yep.
that's 2 violations in one sentence.
Yes. It's all, and guys,
Aguilera.
remember this, it's only a violation because we are regular people. That's what makes it a violation. If we were an agent, like a foster parent, and they're prosecuting foster parents, none of this is gonna matter. They can do that. They can have an attorney appear, they can have the attorney talk, they can do all this other shit to you. Because that's the process that is due to other agents. We are not other agents. We are due a whole separate process that requires an actual injured party. Malika hurt me.
Call the ambulance.
Right. She hurt me here. She hurt me there.
Yeah, Malika, and Trinzi versus Pagilara, statements of a counsel in their briefs or argument while enlightening to the court are not sufficient for the purpose of granting a motion to dismiss or summary
Or
judgment.
summary judgment. Absolutely. Amen. Hallelujah. We have a template that we have created for these motions to show authority, that the only thing you have to do is find the section in your state that talks about the attorney showing authority and paste it in there. We include Trenzi versus Pagliaro in that motion to show authority template.
Where is it?
Awesome.
It's in the group. I think it's in the group. It's either in the group or we have it as a, yeah, it's in the group, because
It's
the
in the-
notice to
it's in
show
the group.
authority is in the, when I say in the group, meaning like you go to the classroom, beat the bar, you click on folders, and you go into the folder for Beat the Bar, and you will find the notice to show authority, which is identical to the motion to show authority. The only difference is one is a private communication, similar to what we spoke about with Charles last week. A notice of no authority is what you send to them privately. You do not file it in the court. But it says the exact same thing as a motion to show authority that is filed in the court. One is private communication, and it has stopped many cases. This is not, you can see why it's not bullshit. Can anybody see why this is not bullshit?
Yes.
I hope
Yes.
everybody's seeing why this is not just like, well, it might work, or whatever. Yes, you're going to have some strategy, because as I mentioned with our first time, the attorney knew they didn't have any authority. That's why they waited till the day before and put in an affidavit, hoping that we did not know how to combat it. And they were right. We did not know. We didn't know to say, excuse me, objection. The affiant is not here to be cross-examined. Therefore, that affidavit is hearsay, and there's no facts before the court in order to make a valid judgment or order.
False claims.
False claim, fraud upon the court.
So I love my referees on here. I love you guys. They're like, false flag, flag on the play, holding. Right?
Malika, I found it in the Illinois Public Act. However, like the gentleman said, they put lines through a lot of the.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if it, as long as it has not been repealed, it is valid.
Okay.
It's them.
Okay, so I found it in Illinois Public Act 096-1195.
Awesome. So you can copy and paste that in the chat so other people can find it. Here we got Washington. Washington calls it production of authority to act. How y'all like that?
Wow. Like they're making beats.
Production of authority to act. The court or even the judge. You see, this is how we know the judges are just like bullshit, because they can do it too. A judge can say, this is why I couldn't be a judge. They come for me. Y'all know that, right? If I was a judge and I knew this shit, let me see your authority, son. Let me see your authority, ma'am. Come on. Let me show it to me. Then they're going to be like, what? You getting Judge Doomsday? No. You want to transfer your case to some other dumbass, because I'm not the one. Court or judge may, on motion of either party and on showing reasonable grounds, therefore, require the attorney for the adverse party or any one of several. That means like anybody, your mom, your dad, your uncle, your auntie, your grandpa, your nephew, to produce or prove the authority under which he or she appears, and until, come on, guys, y'all don't need me to keep going through more and more of these, right? Just go find it. Just go find it. Okay, and it's just like in Nebraska, they tell you in this section, and I just want y'all to know, this is the attorneys at law section. This is part of the statute, so it's not in the administrative code. Like some states, it's in the administrative code. Some states, it's in the rules of procedure of the court. Okay, here it's just a statute under the section called attorneys at law. It literally says production production of authority to act. The next section or the one above says authority of attorney. And an attorney or counsel has authority. This is the only three things, just like it says in Nebraska, to bind their client to a proceeding, to receive money, and just like the third one up in Nebraska, it's like to collect it or some shit. It's nothing says to speak on behalf of. Nothing says to show up in judicial proceeding. You will never see that. Never, ever. But we all going to be going to court talking about, you want to know what to do.
For the LLCs under the Uniform Limited Liability Act of New Jersey, the attorneys, it's called a derivative proceedings, and it's against the shareholders or the members or managers, as you have said that already for other jurisdictions, Malika.
Yes, in Washington, when you go to the this is where they hide it in Washington. So I want you to put the section in Trading Brigade that you just mentioned. I'm going to tell you guys, in Washington, they hide that under where they talk about the power of the corporations. They hide that an attorney can only be hired to counsel them in proceedings when it's the corporation against a primary shareholder, an executive of the corporation, or a director of the corporation. It has to be an internal, non-judicial administrative proceeding against another member of the corporation. You guys understand?
So that's what they're doing to us. They're making us some kind of shareholder or something.
Just like with the banks, just like me and
Derivative.
Charles, we argue a lot about that fact too. Because when you go into the bank, remember, when we pull up, when you go here and you put in the hashtag loans too. Loans too.
Hashtag 123 not it. Okay, I yield.
They will tell us that they can only give
Business opportunity.
They can only give loans to.
Hashtag
That's where it
fuck
says
around
here.
and find out.
Look, loans to
Businesses.
executive officer, director, or principal shareholders of banks.
Hashtag fuck around and find out.
Hashtag that's right. Okay? It says right here in Title 12. See where it says loans by member banks to their executive officers, directors, and principal shareholders. And the reason why this is so important is because there is no other section that talks about giving loans to anybody else. No one. It does not say loans to secured party creditors, loans to just any motherfucker that walking off the street, loans to private people, loans to men and women. It doesn't say loan. They don't even say loans to persons. The only part where they talk about giving loans by the bank to anyone is this.
That's why they give you that savings account and want you to open an account whenever you do get the so-called loan. They open up you a savings account and they throw some little change in there and they make you a member.
The purpose and scope is this part governs extensions of credit made by member bank to only these. That's why when they hired the attorney, when you go into the powers of the corporation and it talks about hiring counsel, they never use the word attorney. They always use the word counsel. It talks about, and you will find this in your local code under the Corporations Act. In Washington, it's 23B. It's RCW 23 Big B. And it says that they can hire counsel, not an attorney, counsel, to for disputes between
Yeah, they're hired.
these same motherfuckers right here.
That's why they're doing. They're hiring it under your name and using it against you. Ain't that a bitch? That's a complete bitch.
I'm talking about you here, right? They know and don't care that they ain't paying McReal.
So hey, let me say this. The reason why I said that is because when they was giving me the so-called loan and they said we're gonna open you a savings account, and I said I don't want one, right? And they said, well, it's our policy, we have to. So now with the shit that you're saying makes sense. Of why they made, now I got a membership at the bank and I got a savings account. Didn't even want one, right?
So they have to make you a member in order to justify giving you the service.
Pretty much is what it sounds like to me.
They compensating you for you now being a member? Because that also sounds like what's missing also.
Yeah,
Well, they
ain't
have to
even-
qualify you in the House of Ill Repute to even have a dispute, right?
Wowzers.
I hope you guys are picking up what I'm laying down.
It's a
because
dirty game.
I hope other people, the synapses are starting to connect.
You firing, they firing, nigga, they firing.
Riding dirty, riding dirty, riding dirty, riding dirty.
Shit.
Yeah. Okay, we're gonna take some questions before we move on. I hope I have Minnesota on there. Yeah, I did have Minnesota. Proof of
I
authority.
wish
Minnesota show
Mississippi
authority.
was on there.
Say again?
I said, you can't use my own name to get an attorney against me?
Yeah, how you gonna use my whole own name? Like, come on.
Hold on. Doesn't that invoke eminent domain then?
Oh, that's why I keep trying to tell everybody. When you do your research on who and what can be foreclosed on, you will find that it's under the section for eminent domain. Told me when we spoke last week that when you research foreclosure in Pennsylvania, it only comes up under abandoned property.
Correct.
The
That is
property
exact-
has to first be abandoned. When you look up foreclosure, even in the United States Code, it comes up under slum clearance. Slum clearance.
Oh my gosh. That's why they kept putting abandoned notices on my grandmother's door. She had a reverse mortgage and they would come by and ask the neighbors, like, where is everybody? And every time I show up, it was a notice on the door saying that the property was vacant. And I had to
Yes,
keep
because
calling
they
the one
have to deem it
for-
abandoned so that they can exercise eminent domain, which is the reason why the sheriff shows up when they want to remove you. It's supposed to be that way, right? It's supposed to be that way. But first, the property had to have been, like Keith always says, it has to be abandoned. It has to be inhabitable, uninhabitable, which is why it becomes a slum clearance activity, exercising through eminent domain. That's the reason the sheriff, when you see the sheriff there, they're exercising eminent domain.
Waste management.
Yes,
Now,
waste management.
Now,
And
most
the crazy part about Pennsylvania is Pennsylvania actually has a literal list that your house has to check off for them to even say is abandoned. They just can't come out. It has to check off every box on that list in the Pennsylvania statute.
And
The most
that's the type of knowledge, my people. That's the type of
Yeah.
knowledge that wins cases. That, not, oh, I gave them a coupon. I endorsed it. I signed it on the side, like 45 degrees.
Another thing, Malika, out here where I live, they come and check my house like every 2 to 3 months.
I
Now
would
that
I
they-
would absolutely do a restraining order against them.
No,
because-
they don't bother me. I just
What? No, they are bothering. Stop it. That's invasion.
Okay, well,
That's like saying,
well,
oh, he only touched my breast. It didn't really bother me.
no,
It's not
we're
really
not-
brushed their hand across my breast.
no, no. Let me explain what I'm trying to convey. I don't see them, but
It
what
don't
I do
matter.
is- I know. I'm trying to explain to you though. I see that they did a property inspection and it's on that mortgage statement. So I was just clarifying. I guess this is why they're coming out to do what they're doing to see if it's abandoned.
You
They're
just stop them
supposed to
from
come
doing
out
that
to see
property. Yeah.
anything if it's not their property.
Okay.
Yeah, you gotta stop them from doing that because they're gonna use that. They're gonna try to use that against you. I would send them a cease and desist immediately. Don't let them keep doing that.
Okay.
And to add to the wisdom, just very briefly, I think it's abandonment is always assumed, especially in the principle of registration. When you go to take your property and quote unquote do anything as far as transferring, then people assume that you abandoned based on whatever alleged transfer is called, whether it's called mortgage, registration, whatever. So that's why in that tax world, they use a 1099 30 for both abandonment and acquisition. If I'm wrong, I'm open for correction.
No, it's correct. It's correct. The only thing is they do an illegal process to remove us from our property, then label it abandoned when their process is supposed to start when the property has been abandoned already.
Okay. That makes sense.
They're not supposed to just be coming to check on your it has to be property of the county.
They
Okay,
put it
so
on that
let me see if
mortgage.
I- first ones. All right.
Malika, real quick, how does that show authority thing work for an attorney?
It's the same thing. It's the attorney, any attorney that's asserting authority, it's the same exact shit.
Oh, but
Same
do you
exact thing.
send it to the
You always
to
have to send it directly to the actual attorney because they're who's gonna have to produce the minutes and the man or woman that's gonna come and be cross-examined. Yes, I hired that dumbass to come take your shit because you have a contract with me that you breached, and so I set my goon for you.
So, all right. I was just wondering how that would work when it's appointed by the judge. But okay. Thank you.
Appointed by the judge that don't have no authority.
Yes,
The judge don't have authority. They appointed
I know.
somebody. How they gonna have a? Come on.
But I just know that they do cover for each other because on Friday I showed up to a hearing just to make sure that my attorney was fired, and you know, they was covering for each other. It was just a mess. Like they definitely look out for each other.
Of
So
course they do. Of how they gonna all keep getting that federal funding if we don't cover for each other? Okay, so this is going back again to when I told you guys to pull up your charters. None of this is gonna make sense unless you connect that dot. You have to know that the federal is connected to the state, is connected to the county, is connected to the city. It has to be congruent. You cannot have the federal that says the federal government can only concern themselves with federal property, but the state can concern themselves with your private life. Can't do that.
right. Another thing that happened on Friday is that the judge told me if I'm firing my attorney, I have to represent myself and be accountable to the rules of the bar. And then
And
when
you
I was
told that asshole to go kiss your ass, right?
I told her that I'm not doing that. I'm not an attorney, and she was like, "See, this is what makes me question your ability to represent yourself because you're saying." Because she was saying, "Do you understand?" I was like, "No, I don't understand." She was like, "Well, if you don't understand, Miss Diaz, then how?"
Why you ain't telling me? I don't understand why you even talking to me. I don't understand how you have any authority to adjudicate what goes on in my bedroom or my life. I don't understand why you over here testifying for the other party. You got to talk to these people however you want. I don't understand none of this. I don't understand how you got an interest in what I do with my life, what I do with my child or children. I don't understand none of this. I don't understand how I'm not a licensee for the what do they call themselves? ACS. I'm not a license. It says straight on their website, right on the front. We regulate our licensees. That's what it says. I don't understand none of this. I'm not a licensee.
Talk to them motherfuckers like it's me coming up to you off the street. You don't know me.
For real. I'll talk to them. Oh, ma'am, that's not the core of the court. I don't give a fuck. You're not supposed to be calling me in here. Y'all trying me right now. It's absolutely stranger danger. But again,
Mute, Bobby.
this is the reason why it's important for you to pull up your charter. Again, I keep saying it, or pull up the statute where your charter is. Like I mentioned last week, in Washington, it's Title 36. In Georgia, it's Title 36 as well. In other states, it's 35 or 40 or 42 or whatever. When the court is doing their child support, custody nonsense, it's ran through the county clerk. Who's
Mom,
that?
give me
Who is that?
co-host.
Hey, it ain't me, people. It's somebody else. I don't know what's
It
going on.
was you, Bobby. But now it's Kevin.
Oh, it's not Bobby. Is it Kel?
It's Kevin. Mom, you need to
Oh, sorry, Sonny.
stop muting me. Give me co-host.
Sonny.
Okay, 1 second, guys.
Young lady mentioned about representing yourself. You can't represent yourself because you are yourself. So you always have have the power of attorney for your person.
Okay,
Kevin.
so show authority
Buffer.
against the other party's attorney. judicial complaint against the judge, criminal complaint against the judge, criminal complaint against the other attorney. And when I say those things, I don't want you guys to feel intimidated because all of these things are either forms or templates that you should just be able to change the date, change the name of the offending attorney, modify the actual offense, and send it in. Like we should be able to do a criminal complaint, a judicial complaint, or a bar grievance, all on the same day, all within an hour. As soon as
And
they
I
start
starts with
talking to us,
identity theft.
do not make this shit linger. This is why it's important that you have to know their power. A lot of people think that, you know, they gotta correct their status. Your status is right here. You think you're a slave. That's the problem. When you tell yourself, I have to go to court on someone else's invitation, you are saying, I am that other person's slave. That is what you are saying.
And they got the authority.
Now, when I file a claim and I make a state actor the defendant and they say I have to go to court, they are my slave because they are the servant. Do you understand?
They're Jeffrey. You're the Fresh Prince.
That's right. They're Jeffrey. I'm the Fresh Prince. I don't have to go anywhere on their command. They absolutely have to go somewhere on my command. Find where the
And
corporate
then they
powers
don't, you
is.
don't know
You
who
can
they
put
are.
in any county. Corporate powers, type in any county, type in any state, corporate powers, it will come up. The name of the category is probably going to be exactly like this, corporate powers. Put a 1 in the chat if you have found the corporate powers under the statute or charter for the county. Let me see who's doing their homework. Because I know a lot of y'all still think y'all slaves and y'all gonna wait around till you get invited to court like a slave. Okay, I see some ones in the chat. Who else? It's the same regular people that's been winning. 111. Look, all the winners are in here. They
Yes,
already
I
pulled it
do.
up. All the winners in here
Hey,
already pulled it up. All the
it's
people
just
that either
simple
already
identity
have a
theft.
Beat the Bar shirt, like the one I have on, or they're about to get one. Because if you
Or
don't
shoot
pull
the
this
sheriff.
up,
No.
you're always gonna think that they could just talk to you whenever, wherever.
Identity theft. That's all it is.
Absolutely. The 100% identity theft. Identity
They
theft
can't
and
even
abusive
start it.
process is
They can't start it
all
without
that's going on.
identity theft.
Do y'all see what it says here under corporate powers? I need everyone to pull up this paragraph because this is what you need to copy and paste when you're talking to the sheriff. This is what is going to make Skyer win in Georgia.
Oh.
Do you guys see what it says here? The several counties of this state shall have the capacity of bodies corporate. Bodies corporate. This is very important. Not bodies governmental. Bodies corporate to sue and be sued in a manner prescribed by law, to purchase and hold lands, to make contracts and to purchase and hold personal property, but only what kind as may be necessary to their corporate or administrative powers. So
You
if
need your
you're a
house and apartment.
county, what kind of property are you holding?
It's not your house or it's not your house or apartment.
What kind of
False-
property are you actually holding for your corporate
False
powers?
false
County
claims of
property.
ownership, blasphemy.
What kind of properties can they hold for their corporate administrative powers as a county, my people?
Maybe the
County
county.
property.
Maybe the
And what kind
county
of property is that? Let's hear some things that are property of the county.
Oh, the courthouse.
the sheriff's office, maybe.
The sheriff's office, the library,
Parks.
a park. Right,
Arsenal.
somebody said the computers. Yep, the
City
computers
Hall.
in their offices. Okay, and to do all necessary acts in relation to what? Say it with me, guys. All
Oh,
the
the
property
of
of the
the
county.
county.
So what are they doing at your house?
I don't know.
Obviously, talking about let's make a deal.
Getting
They-
shot.
Getting shot? I don't know how anybody could see this and be like, I have a court date. They invited me to a court date so they could come take my shit. Y'all are reading this with your own eyes, right? You will find the exact same thing in every state. Every state. So when
They
they
got
say
it
we
hot.
coming to take your kid, we coming to take your kid, guys. All the
My foster
property
parent.
of the county. They come to take your
Somebody
bike.
opening an account in my name.
Right. Put some respect. Where
Somebody
Birdman at? Where Birdman at?
somebody open an account in my name. I need that. I need that.
Which part of this says they can foreclose, evict, execute warrants, service of process at one's house, condominium, apartment, view? Which part of that say that?
Then
Who
The
wants
never.
to share a part of a section that we haven't seen yet? Somebody show me like Mississippi, Oklahoma, something like that. Tennessee,
Kansas,
Kentucky.
Pennsylvania, something.
Somebody show it to me where it says corporate powers of the county. I want to see it.
Yeah, I'll look it up. Hold on. Give me
Thank you.
1 second.
Kentucky in the chat right now if you want.
Awesome. Kentucky's in the chat. Let's look at it.
Where Kansas at?
Oh shit, so y'all going too fast. Post the section. Okay, Tennessee. It's under public planning and housing. Now here's what's funny. For Tennessee, it's public planning and public housing. Tennessee local land bank program. That's where it shows up under the land bank program. How much more obvious does it have to be? How much more obvious does it have to be, guys? The section where you're going to read about the corporate powers talks about public housing and the public land bank program.
It might be.
But the sheriff is over there marching onto your land, marching onto your house. You guys notice something? Title 26 RCW 3601. Look at 3601. This is the next thing that you're looking at. You're looking for in your local jurisdiction. Under the same chapter where they talk about corporate powers of the county, you're going to see something called foreign trade zones. Foreign trade zones. This is very important. We talk about this in Pigpen. Pigpen is where we learn how to box them up, box them into a corner. You're supposed to be property of the county. The attorney's supposed to have authority from the Secretary of Treasury and the Secretary of Commerce. Why? Because those are the residents that are part of the zone. And here is the zone, a foreign trade zone. Authority to apply for permission to establish, operate, and maintain a county as a zone sponsor. When you get a ticket, a traffic ticket, and they tell you you were in the county, you were operating a business in the county, they're accusing us of operating a business in a foreign trade zone, a FTZ. They talk about the foreign trade zone in every county code. Every county code will have this definition.
In Georgia, I said it last week, under the foreign trade zone, a public corporation is defined as the state of Georgia. And that's defined,
right.
It's
The
defined.
state of Georgia is the public corporation.
Okay, and so zoning, the Z is the ST. So this is the proverbial meta zone, stone. He who cast the first stone. So it's he who casts the first fort and says the mind possession of the thing. So that's what you're doing. They are trying to fight with you, and they're going to say, if you're going to fight with us, you have to use organized rules like boxing or kick fighting or UFC. No, there's no rules when someone's trying to fight with you. So if he's trying to cast stone at you, he is the accuser.
All is fair, love and war.
All is fair and love and war. There, don't tell me about no fucking rules. We not over here being civil. You're trying to theft from me.
You're trying to thief me now.
Mm-hmm. Come test me now.
Yeah, that's the whole point of being a citizen. They want you to be civil and polite. When in fact, they want you to be civil and polite when they're attacking you.
Yes,
Well,
they want
I
you
don't
to be
think so.
polite and
Yeah, I
be
don't think so.
cordial.
I'm not a politic.
Are you going to file a federal case against us? We're going to file a protection order. Bitch, you the dumbass that brought the case.
Right.
Now you want to file a protection order against me?
Because
No,
we didn't pull your pants down.
Yeah, we just went whoop and then gave you a wedgie.
you can't go get a posse big enough if a man stands up.
Word. So it says a county as a zone sponsor may apply to the United States for a permission. If
Means
you're
they're-
applying to the United States, doesn't that mean that it has to be the United States stuff
That means
that
they're
you're operating and maintaining in this zone?
like United States. May I have some more, sir? That's what the apply means.
United States, may I please have permission to protect your property in this zone?
the political subdivision, they call
If
it.
it
Political
pleases the-
subdivision.
If it pleases the crown,
can't come
which
after it in
means
that
that
name. I know
it
that.
has to be property of the county under permission of the United States.
And they can't use the United States as a source of authority.
But they can apply.
Means to
Oh,
egg petition.
shit's so funny.
Ain't it funny? It is I'm telling you, all we do is laugh and laugh and laugh. And we know that the people who feel fear in their heart, it's just because they've not read this simple stuff.
No, yeah, I'm banging them with birth certificates. You can't fuck with me.
Stop it. They were pissing Charles off in the group. Every time somebody came in there and asked for some court strategy, they'd be all of this sovereign citizen BS, I'm going to call it. Charles was just like, I'm sick of y'all. How many of y'all ever been to court? Period. Nobody giving all this stupid ass advice has ever actually been into court. They've not fucked around and found out what does and does not work. So they still over there thinking they keyboard warriors. Oh, just go to court and tell them you're a man. Go to court and invoke what they call it, invoke common law jurisdiction. Charles was
Yeah.
like, how many of y'all ever been to court? Crickets.
I'll tell
Okay.
you when they did that crap when I was in court, you know what we did to them?
What's that?
We called our personal district. We called our personal. We called them personal investigators and told them when the court case is over, you make sure you lock their asses up. That's what we told them.
Oh shit.
That court, if you look, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, Trinity.
The reason why this is important, guys, we're linking two things together. When you find this corporate power section of your county, and right next to the corporate power section, you're going to find something about this foreign trade zone. It links us right back up to the federal code, Title 19, Chapter 1A, because that's foreign trade zones. That's why I make these posts. I'm showing you as above, so below. You're going to find foreign trade zones under the county code or county statutes, or even in the county charter if they have one. And when you see them talking about the foreign trade zones in the county, connect the dots in your heart and mind to the foreign trade zone of Title 19 USC, where they go right back and tell you that in order to be a resident of the state, you have to be one of these agents engaged in this foreign trade zone trading stuff under the Secretary of Commerce and the Secretary of the Treasury, which runs the board for these foreign trade zones. So the county has to apply to the United States. The United States tell you it's customs and duties. They tell you that the state is only the District of Columbia, letting you know that the foreign trade zone in the county is a mere embassy of the District of Columbia.
One USC, two parish.
Wow.
It is the one USC 2 parish,
Church.
which is the church.
Tabernacle.
Preach, preacher.
You see where it says the definitions of Title 19? They define the secretary means the Secretary of Commerce. The board means the Secretary of Commerce and the Treasury, the Secretary of Treasury. State means you're in the District of Columbia. Corporation means a public corporation, just like what Trading Brigade just said a few minutes ago. The public corporation is a municipality, and the municipality is the county. They tell you right here. Right here.
And that is a religious principled municipality.
So they're acting illegal just doing debt collection. God damn.
That's why I
Yeah.
said metropolitan area ain't nothing but what the Archbishop oversees.
They better not ever call me up in that motherfucker. Boy, it's gonna be hell.
There, you've been running out to your post box, Charles, looking to see if any invitations in there.
Nah, they ain't fucking calling
Charles
me.
be like, let me go check the mail today.
motherfuckers
Ain't
calling
nobody
me.
trying to fuck around and find out.
And what's them attorneys say at the end of their statement? And we pray that this will be done in the court.
Right.
Pray, apply is the same word.
Yeah. Yeah,
They pray to the court. They don't pray to God.
They're praying to the judge. The judge is their God. All right, so we're going to take some questions here, and then I want
Etymologically,
Samaya to
God.
share. So I hope you're open to sharing, Samaya. All right, Woman, go ahead with your question, comment, or emotional outburst.
All right. Thank you so much. Great class today.
And my condolences to Skyar. It was really, really hard to hear about all that. So I'm glad that he is on the move already with getting it fixed. Really quick for the motion to show authority. I was wondering when you're talking, I'm thinking, well, could a game strategy be to put it in again if technically, they so-called terminated it, but this time have the actual hearing. I wrote that down somewhere. Hearing in there with it so that basically putting it in, it's going to schedule the hearing, right? Is when I file it, right?
Usually okay, so I need you
You
to
would have
do
a
me a
conflict.
favor and go
Okay.
back to the docket and see the time that you entered, the actual date and time that you entered your motion to show authority, and the exact date and time that it was allegedly terminated. Because
Okay.
even if you enter it along with a scheduled hearing, if they terminate it as soon as they come into work the next day, how is that supposed to give the clerk time to set the hearing?
Okay.
See? So it's not
Yeah.
necessarily an issue of, oh, I didn't put in for the hearing at the same exact time, because by the time the clerk's looking at it, it already says termination. If it's only within 12 hours, 18 hours of you filing it.
Okay, so if I'm getting this right, it's the clerk who does the scheduling of the hearings according to the motions.
No. Yes. But you have to say, I want to set a hearing. You can't just
Okay,
put the
okay, that
motion in and then the clerk goes, wow, there's a motion here. Let me just set the schedule. You have to
Okay.
say, and you can do it beforehand, of course. You say, you call up not just the clerk, the judicial assistant. There's still a
Okay.
clerk, but the judicial assistant is assigned to each judge, or maybe they might have 2-3 judges that the same judicial assistant is helping. But the judicial assistant is who knows the schedule of the judge and will say, okay, they have an opening on this day at this time, so we're going to set the hearing. So yes, you can before you can write your motion up, contact or email the judicial assistant or call the judicial assistant saying, I'd like to set up a hearing. When is the judge available? Okay. So
Okay.
yes, it is correct generic protocol that you can set up a date and time for the hearing before or during the same time that you schedule that you file the motion, whatever the motion is. However, again, if you have a rogue judge that is just
Yeah.
terminating, so even if you did put in the hearing date, it's gonna still say terminated. So all it's gonna be is still more proof of that you got an asshole magistrate.
Right.
Let's assume you don't have an asshole magistrate. Yes, you want to set your hearing as soon as possible. But it doesn't, technically, there's no rule that says it absolutely has to be filed at the same time. It could be the next day. Okay, it could be 2 days after that. You call up the clerk, you say, hey, I want to set a hearing for the schedule I filed yesterday, for the motion I filed yesterday or the day before.
So that's
Okay.
what we're supposed to be doing, calling out the renegades, rebels, and rogues within the system who are overindulging. The other people, they're just doing their job and they're following along. They're trying to be the best public service that they're being, even though they may be compartmentalized and don't have the full continuity of their job. But it's the rebels, rogues, and the renegades who are our problems.
Okay, so should I wait until I
No,
disqualify them?
don't wait till anything. Don't wait till anything. If you could write 6
Okay.
motions and hand them a stack, do it. Do the shit. Don't wait for
just
anything.
Yeah.
okay.
So
So
if you get an honorable man that recognizes that, make sure that he's giving you those jewels so you can work with him. But if he's giving you pushback, keep in mind he may be tempering you to see that you're not of the public trust. You don't have to be managed like that. He may be checking your sound of mind. So don't get angry. Just go with the flow and say, oh, I see you're asking me back some questions and see if I really know what I'm talking about. And then double down. Okay. Don't be offended. Don't be emotionally triggered. And then you'll get them to have a meeting of minds with you.
okay, so would you say that a district judge putting out there the fact that I'm acting as a sovereign citizen, do you think that's honorable?
Well,
No.
he's tempering you. I mean, you can take it any way you want, but I think he's
No,
tempering you.
I'm just curious.
It's
I was
honorable.
really
No, it's not honorable.
okay. That's what I That's what I was leaning towards. I just, yeah. All right. So basically, what I could do is put in this disqualify the judge and put in the 2 motions to show authority all at the same time.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's not first and second and all that. Get they
All
ass.
right.
Okay.
Okay.
And
And I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No,
and
you
if
go
they
ahead.
say you're acting as a sovereign citizen, because it happened to me when I went to court, the judge didn't say it, but the attorney said it, and I did denounce it. So you have to denounce it when they say it, just so that you know.
Well, and let that define sovereign citizen. Why you all
Hey,
use
it
the
doesn't
word
matter.
sovereign
It's like
citizen?
saying
Absolutely.
define fuck you. I
There
don't
we
need a
go.
definition of fuck you. You wish me harm. I
Yeah.
don't need for you to
Yeah.
tell me the definition.
Judge,
Wishing me harm.
anytime
And
you
the
stand
judge
up,
went with me,
When
but they
someone
looked
says
like
eat shit, I don't have to find out what the definition of eat and shit is. I know that you're saying something derogatory. It's like smiles are universal, right? You smile, the baby smiles, the mama smiles, daddy smiles, everybody smiles. When you frown, same thing. Frown, they frown, everybody frown. I don't have to know the meaning nor the reason that you're frowning or smiling. I know what that shit means. I know when you
As
call me a sovereign citizen, I don't have to know what a sovereign means nor a citizen, but I know you're trying to wish me harm. You're trying to say something derogatory.
right.
And that itself is the problem. It don't matter what the derogatory thing means, it's the fact that you mean to be derogatory towards me.
yeah,
anytime you stand
that's
up for
true.
yourself, they call you that.
Yeah.
I again, it happens to a lot of people. It never happened to me. I've never been
I'll
called a sovereign citizen. So
add
it's
to the
not just whoever stands up. They look for little things, right? How you want to spell your name. You want to write it all in lowercase. You want to write it with dashes and colons and other things like that's the type of stuff that they look for to try to nitpick at. I want them to focus on show me your authority pursuant to RCW blah blah blah. Do you understand? Pursuant to RCW 2.44, we cannot proceed with hearing anything you said because you have not shown your authority. And pursuant to Trenzi versus Pagliaro, statements of counsel, although enlightening, cannot be used to support a motion to dismiss or summary judgment. That's what you need to be focused on. When you start saying things like, I'm alive, I'm flesh and blood, I'm breathing in and out, that's looking to get disparaged, in my opinion.
On the table.
Yeah, you slamming your
Well
social,
said, Malika. Well
your
said.
social
Yes.
security card, your birth certificate, you talking all that shit. You will be called a sovereign citizen.
So
I've
That
never
may-
been called a sovereign citizen because all I straight do is show them their own definition.
So if you go out in the
Mhm.
public and an agency smiles at you and waves hi, there's nothing wrong with being cordial. But if he wants to stop you and continue the conversation, say, "Excuse me, I can talk to you in privacy as man to man, but if you're offering solicitation of contract or legal advice, I can't take that because what I assume is going to happen here is that you're going to start acting outside your job description. You're not supposed to be talking to me unless I contract with you, unless I start the conversation."
You
I
have
said,
to start the that's what people
Right.
miss.
Right.
If we don't initiate the conversation, they're not supposed to be talking to us outside of an emergency.
And that's
The law says that.
and that's
The
called
actual law says they can talk to people when this happens, that happens, or an emergency. That's it.
and that's an instigator, that's a motivator, and that's an informant, and that's exactly what your mom signed on as the birth certificate. And
In my most recent experience, I watched someone dealing with a circus situation, circus court, kangaroo court. What I realized is the original clerk and the judge was disqualified. However, same so-called case, new judge, new clerk, which now makes me think critically that when you go to disqualify one of them, in spirit, you're disqualifying all of them. However, I think you should get a list of everyone that's ever involved in any so-called courthouse, all the clerks, all the so-called judges, from the chief down to whomever, and send them all the same notices so it pre-disqualifies them. That's all I wanted to add.
It's funny that you say that at this point because that's typically what Joe believes happened here. And what I would suggest is, especially depending on the amount of people at your court, the local courthouse, you might not be able to put all of them on there. But if you get the chief judge, the chief clerk, and then you say any acting through the authority of, then you've covered all of the sub or deputy clerks or
Shit doesn't
deputy whatever,
shit does
deputy
not know
justice,
because
or I don't even know what the hell they call
if the
themselves.
if the first one didn't initiate the case right, then none of them can.
Correct. And that's why if you go with the head judge and the head clerk, you should cover them all. Because if the first one
Yeah.
didn't do it, even if they weren't the head judge, none of them are going to be able to do it. Because remember, the case is already instituted now.
Right.
It's like, are
That's
you
why I
already
said even
pregnant
with your
now?
attorney.
You already
Even with your
pregnant now.
attorney.
All we could do is find a bandit that
Even
raped
with
you.
your even with your attorneys and the first judge, they can't go back because the case number is already the account number has been established.
Exactly.
So as they pass around the judges and excuse, they'll come back and try again. That's what try is. Try is 3. So they're going to try. The T is a C, so it's really a cry. You're having a crier with these people. And what did your mom already tell you? I'm gonna count to 3, and then I'm not going to tolerate it anymore. So they may test you 3 times before they really close down and shut off and leave you alone. So
And-
keep this in mind.
My
Stay
Yes.
shit
behind.
already dropped.
Yeah, I had to drop 2 on 1. Ain't no big deal.
Yes.
Well, hold on. Do you mind if I just finish up my?
Yeah, go ahead, and woman.
Okay, sorry about that. Well, I was just wondering, so should I just turn back in the motions that I already had that they just terminated?
Make them better.
But
Make them better. Refile them.
add also add the scheduling a hearing part to it.
You
I want
that's a
set a
separate
hearing.
piece of paper, just like how an order is a separate piece of
Oh,
paper.
okay.
Okay, and in the jurisdictionary course, it's like 2 sentences. Attention, judicial assistant for judge whoever. I'd like to schedule a hearing for this. And that's why calling them on the phone to see when the judge is available. And that's all you're saying. I just want I want to set a hearing and I want to know the judge's open schedule. And as soon as they tell you a day, write that shit down on your schedule. So it'll just be like notice of hearing. So you have a motion and then you have notice of the hearing on the motion, 2 separate pieces of paper, even though the second one is only going to have 1 sentence. That's why
Okay,
some people say it's a motion, a notice of a motion, or a motion and notice of a hearing all at once. It'll say motion and notice of hearing all on 1 document, and there'll just be a section that says the hearing is on this day. Okay, so if you
I
call in
gotcha.
advance and you get the judge's open schedule, you can put that in and send it off. Okay?
Okay, thank you. And then really quick, so when we were talking about consent and all this earlier, I was just wondering if by me sending the 2 letters and the 2 emails to the CPS agent is giving consent.
No, hell
Okay, that's
no.
what
So
I was just
consent has
like-
to be knowingly and willingly saying, yes, I want you to speak to me. This is just like courting. This is just like sex. A man just can't come and grab your hand. Me and you go together now because you glanced in my direction.
Right.
right.
Yeah.
So she did send another email. Do I just keep sending back the same thing if I need your record of why?
Notice
how
of
I'm
liability and intent to sue. You contact me one more time, motherfucker. I'm suing you for invasion of privacy, abuse of process, okay? And
Right.
violation of the tax laws because they didn't go and get permission to open up an account. They don't have, it's a violation of due process because they're claiming someone did some anonymous, some shit on a line. That's not the same as getting a complaint. You don't have to answer shit. That's not a complaint. You don't have to answer emails back. You don't have to text back. You actually don't have to do anything at all. You don't even have to send them a cease and desist.
Mhm.
But if you send anything, I highly recommend it be a cease and desist. Let them know if you contact me again without proof that I gave you authority to communicate or proof that an injured party has filed an official complaint pursuant to Title 28, I'm going to sue you.
That's lawful trespass for harassment.
Exactly. It's a harassment. It's 15
Okay.
USC 1692D.
Okay. I'm writing that down. Okay, and so what I'm wondering is, would it be better for me to go? I know that you're saying to file another lawsuit. That the only
I'm not
thing
saying
that
to
I've
file
been-
another lawsuit because you might get rid of them with just a threat because they're not
Well,
supposed to be
that's what I-
talking to you. Slavery is illegal and unlawful. And unless
Right.
they
I
could
get
provide
that.
records that you gave them express written consent to communicate with you, unless they have a verified complaint from an injured party, they literally need to shut the fuck up.
Right.
I'm gonna
What I'm wondering is because this process with the federal is seeming to be, it's literally
Don't
feels
worry
like,
about that.
well, what I'm wondering is if there's a way to take them out without doing the federal as far
Notice
as,
of liability and intent to sue.
I know, but Malika, she keeps
Notice of
plowing through.
liability and intent to sue. You literally
there-
don't have to send anything at all. You do not
Okay.
have to talk to them at all.
I just don't want to get pulled in 3 different directions because right now I've got the 2 Fed suits and
You only
I'm-
got
I-
one Fed suit.
well, there's the injunction.
It's still for the same thing.
Right, right.
It's only one.
Okay. I guess I'm just wondering if I don't know. If there's a easier way to take
Yes,
them
you can
out
just
without.
ignore them. You literally can just ignore them and don't hesitate to ignore them. But if you're going to
Okay.
say anything, notice of liability and intent to sue. There's nothing else to say.
If I ignore them, are they going to go get some kind of quasi order from some
You
fake
can't get a
court?
order without a hearing and all this other stuff.
Okay, so they're not going to show up at the door with some kind of fake warrant?
You can't have a warrant without a case.
there
You
you
can't
go.
have a case without a
I know, but
you
Well,
don't know but.
I
You
don't
know
even
but.
know how
You're
she's
all
able
over the
to
place
talk
because
to
you
me.
want to worry about them when you don't have to worry about them.
No,
You
I'm
got
just trying to stay a
Can't
step
keep your
ahead
hands
because
without a warrant.
Yes,
You ain't
you
done
can
that
say
so
nothing at all and still be a step ahead because notice of liability and intent to sue can be implemented at any time.
okay.
yeah, that's crazy.
Well, yeah. Well, see the stuff like with what happened with Skyer today, no warning, they just show up. And when I was
But they
looking through
had a fake court event.
already. Well, that's why I'm wondering.
Yeah, but did they have a fake court event for you? Did they invite you to a fake court
I-
event?
Not that I've seen yet,
Okay,
but
so
I don't really.
push it on the back burner
Okay.
because they're trying to use it as a distraction and you're allowing it to work.
Yeah.
Because you literally can ignore them to hell. You absolutely
Okay.
do not have to do nothing, even what you did. You don't have to do it. You don't have to talk to these people at all.
It's over a debt.
What's not a debt? They trying to say, oh, somebody filed an anonymous complaint. I don't give a fuck. I don't have to talk to you at all. You don't have to talk to them
1692
at
ID.
all. Unless they can produce a verified complaint, there's nothing to say.
There can't be no warrant, man.
Okay. Well, thank you. I
1692 ID.
appreciate
You're
it.
welcome.
Thanks, McGrill.
I love when Charles is on. So go ahead with your question, comment, or emotional outburst.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, first of all, emotional outburst is Am Woman saying that CPS is trying to contact her now?
Yes.
Oh
The
my God!
attorney
they're
who's
Listen,
trying to
getting his
come after
ass
me.
kicked in federal court did an anonymous complaint to CPS.
yeah, right. Yeah,
Okay.
listen, Am Woman, don't let them trick you. That's what I did a year and 3 months ago. I believed their lies. I went to
Yeah.
their fake ass court, and I regret every moment of it. Don't let
Mm.
them trick you,
Because listen,
please.
because
It's
these
a
are
bunch of
bargain.
bull fucking shit. That's all it is.
Mhm.
Don't listen to, and they can't take your child. They can't do anything. Don't comply at all.
Let me put
Take it from-
your fears to rest. With CPS, it's an administrative hearing straight up.
Yes.
Okay.
Right.
It's
And
an
I
administrative
understand.
hearing, and you can just go to the Administrative Office of Courts in Nebraska. They have a tab that says administrative hearing. Report their ass.
Right. Okay,
They're
gotcha.
they're
Yeah.
playing bar games, and in a bar, how many different types of games you go into today's bar? It's a sports bar, so they're going to offer you all kinds of games, billiards, pinballs, and if you don't know the rules of the games, we probably shouldn't play. So we have to stay out of that bar.
Right. Thank you.
Okay,
And
well,
I
that-
was reading too, this might help you too. I was under state officers because that's where the link is with the school. They're saying, because I don't know if it's tied to the school at all for you at all, but they're saying that the governor basically has all the property and it ties saying that you're a state officer under the statute 84 and the school, it's just so messed up. I'll stop talking
Yes,
about
because the governor's living in Barmageddon.
It's not messed up. It's what people need to know. When the CPS shows up, you're supposed to be like, when did I become an officer under the governor? That's what
Right.
you're supposed, unless you can show me power of attorney to act that I
Just
gave to
rescind.
the governor to act on behalf of. I don't know why you're talking to me.
I'm
First,
not a
first,
bartender.
Yeah.
first of all, why
So
the fuck would you even open the door if anybody invite you over?
so the school, right? When you sign up your children for school, they
But
have
they
a
didn't sign up their
hidden.
children for school. What the CPS is trying to do is force them to sign up their children for school.
Oh, cease and
Okay?
desist.
Everybody has to understand the problems don't begin because you opted in. The problems begin when they want to come force you to opt in. And they want to question, why didn't you opt in? And you're like, I don't fucking have to talk to you. That's your magic. I don't have to talk to you.
Yeah, just let them
I'm
know.
only giving you this records request. I'm only sending you this records request so that I can have ammo when I sue you, if I have to.
I'm not a bartender.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, and you can
You
tell them,
lit- when
it's
I say you
private.
guys don't have to talk to them, I literally mean like they can send you 100 emails today and you can just hit delete on every single fucking one of them. You don't
Hey,
actually have to talk to them at all.
hey man,
Go
I'm not a
fuck
Well, you can
bartender,
tell them
but
to
I
stop
sure can.
communicating with you, but do it effectively,
Go
meaning
fuck
cease and
yourself.
desist, because it is
No.
a misdemeanor.
You send them
violate.
a notice that says cease and desist, and in it says you better fuck off real hard or I will sue you, period, respectfully. Go away.
Notice to go fuck yourself.
Yes, notice to go fuck yourself. You
Period.
don't have to have any kind of rapport and all this, like, you're trying to be civil. Fuck you, Nicole, or whatever, Holly, or whatever the fuck her name is.
I'm not a bartender, but I sure can tender a fucking bar.
When you're done fucking yourself, go ahead and fuck off again.
Right.
Because once you talk to them once, they're like cockroaches. They will not leave you alone. Don't even start.
Well,
Don't
then go
even
fuck
start.
them some more. I'm
Right.
a top, not I'm a
Aza, know
top,
what's
not a
up. What's
bottom.
your question, Aza?
Okay, so I have a few questions about the disqualification of the judge document that was beautifully displayed last Thursday. I wanted to ask a question. I listened carefully over to the video that we had, and I had a few questions like, what is a circle church? Was one, and the other one was, well, I'll ask that first, and then after that, I'll ask the next one.
I'll let Bobby explain the circle church.
Get him,
Well,
Bob.
okay, if you're going to be of a circle church, you have to accept their circulators, okay, and be of their circulation. You have to be a parishioner, 1 USC 2 parishioner. So if you're going to be in the federal trade zone of the religious state, you have to accommodate their religious beliefs and be okay with the whole entirety of what people do within that church and they allow people to do within that church. They can find Fat Bobby every fucking day, but you mean to tell me they can't find a pedophile? I
Right.
don't think so. So you have to, if you're going to be of the circle the circle church, you have to be the pivot man because it's all going to revolve around you. And whatever you say and do, you're going to accept all the privilege and benefits that they have to offer. That's including getting pulled over, getting beat in the face, asked to waiting to 62 years old to get a dividend from that church. They're all privilege and benefits. It don't matter if you like them or don't like them. They're all privilege and benefits.
All right. What's your next question, Aza?
Okay, well, it said in the document, or at least the notes from the document, that you're operating for the circle church and hiding it at the same time, collecting money. And I was just trying to, I wanted to be able to fully comprehend what I'm going to send. So are you saying
You're
that
not
that's-
sending anything using the word circle church or any
okay.
other terms that you don't comprehend.
Okay. Okay, got it. Okay.
That is
I
so
won't.
funny.
Take it off.
Why did they use that word?
I did.
Yeah,
Oh,
Charles did.
Okay. Perfect.
Okay.
Church is circle. Church is German for circle.
Yes, it is.
Right.
That's Kirk. Kirk, church,
Captain Kirk.
circle.
The Enterprise was Captain Kirk's church. He was flying it around the spaceship.
Circle. Isn't
All
that a
right.
gun guy?
Any other questions, Aza?
Yes, yes. I have several other questions. The next thing is when you're in the document or the notes from the document where it says that hold on, I'm looking at it right now.
Come on now, I know you hear me.
Okay, you know what? Let me wait on that question because I'm looking it up still. The
Okay.
other thing is, I had asked you a few months ago about sending in the delegated authority of the attorneys. You advised me not to just go ahead with my claim, but I really want to shut down this so that for personal family reasons. And would you recommend that this time, along with this, disqualification of the judge, like Ammelman is doing, to do all the attorneys also now?
I don't know what was my reasoning why I said to just focus on your claim. Maybe I thought you were going to be able to get it done in a few days, but there's absolutely no reason to not challenge the authority of the attorney. I'm not sure
Okay.
why I would have said don't, because that's one of the first things to do.
Okay,
The
yeah, I'm not sure
problem
why
is
either.
the problem is if you're gonna disqualify the judge and or the attorney, then you need to stick right the fuck there and stop bouncing all the fuck around on other different types of shit. Stay with the stance that you start with, so the motherfuckers will know that you mean business and know you know what the fuck you're talking about.
Exactly.
When you do other shit and you try to pose a fee on shit that don't mean shit that based on what you started with, then they know you don't know what the fuck you're doing. So you want to do a fee on the judge, here, produce the fucking authority from the treasury that you got, or this is my fee. This is your acceptance of the bullshit you do on the process you do on the judge himself.
Yeah,
Now
what's
you got
funny
him
is
locked in.
an example of what Charles just said shows up under disqualified judge. If you do hashtag on lawful living, those like almost the exact words come up. Like what? Y'all know I can't spell.
So I mean, I'm just saying,
Qualifi.
I'm posing a fee on the judge for not producing that fucking the shit that we need that you needed to initiate the case. We don't have to go nowhere the fuck else.
So don't try to get clever because we know what the book says about being clever. Don't try to outsmart them at their own game.
Look at this. 2 years ago, guys. So we weren't late, Charles. Man.
Not
2 years ago, okay? Disqualify the judge. Okay. And
Right.
I don't know who I got this from. It's either Charles or Keith, okay? A proceeding is any appearance before the court, before as in front of. This is why the judge does not want to have to talk to you in open court when they bring you in for pretrial conference with the prosecutor, because they are fucked for violating due process under this article, provided you object. You have to object to their failure to comply, both verbally, if you do show up, and of course in writing, especially if you don't show up. Okay? The proper wording of your motion to disqualify should be along the lines of, Judge, I'm a cunt, aka Judge Cunt, created the appearance of judicial impropriety and prejudice against the accused in case number whatever by his or her actions on that day, while performing her duties and acting in her judicial capacity at the judge of City of Screwham Municipal Court, known as the court. Judge Cunt failed to perform her duties in compliance with state law, specifically the rules of criminal procedure, as well as the right of the accused, protected by the Bill of Rights. This is Texas. Judge Cunt knowingly and willingly acted in concert and collusion with the prosecutor to alienate and deprive the accused of their protected due process rights as codified in those rules. These are the types of things you want to be saying, okay? And you want to stay on that. As a matter of fact, I actually got this from Eddie Craig from Tower of Law. I remember it now because he's the one that calls all the judges cunts.
So all I'm saying is what I've been saying, and what I'm staying. I ain't going nowhere from that point. Is you need that written authority for that judge to open the account in your person's name. I mean, it's really that fucking simple. You stay right there. You ask for it, you request it, and you do the 3-step on that motherfucker too. Now you got them in default. Then you can go file your stupid little claim, small claims or whatever the fuck it is.
This is what I recommend people do. You do, and this is why I took so long to do the slideshow. What do we call it? What is it called, guys? Where you go from here to here?
Flow chart.
Flow chart. Thank you. Thank you. This is why it took so long to do the flow chart, because really the first things to do is disqualify the attorney, disqualify the judge, and do judicial complaints on the judge, bar grievances on the attorney, and then criminal complaints with the sheriff, the DA, and the attorney general.
Right.
Mhm.
And so
And we should have these
jump in.
already, like template.
Let me jump
Change
back
the
to
name, change the
so
date,
on
send.
the CC list, if they keep going, and you just got that's conspiracy with everybody on the fucking
With
CC list.
everybody involved.
So when you ask me, if you ask me who you fucking complain to me, you're not even paying attention to what the fuck you're doing if you don't look at the CC list, because you're telling everybody on the list what the fuck they're doing.
Yep.
CC Ryder.
So now
Yep.
you got to now when you come back and you rewrite another notice saying that this motherfucker don't have no authority to pump my name around and identity theft me, God damn it. Then here's everybody on this list should know about it now.
And that makes everybody on the list guilty of 18 USC 4.
If they don't do nothing after that.
If they allow the whoever's offending to continue, they're all guilty of 18 USC 4.
Yeah, it's what they call it, climate. They're fucking up the climate because they're carbon copying, and that's the CC. They're the curious cat, and curiosity killed the cat. They're CC Ryder.
I hope you guys are getting that. You disqualify the attorney, you disqualify the judge, you complaint through the sheriff, the district attorney, and the attorney general.
Carbon tax.
So to me,
I
if you just pay
disqualified the
attention,
judge while I was
if
in
you just
jail.
pay attention to those few things that you're doing.
And the reason we're saying that, guys, is that is what got this done. This right here, this win for Joe, they cannot even find someone to evict him.
Wow.
They cannot find a judge to evict him, guys. They tried it twice.
I get silence.
They tried it twice.
Now they're like 1, 2, 3, not it.
Now they're like 1, 2, 3, 9.
Where's Joe?
Hey, Joe. Okay. So
Okay,
I want you guys to see that all of this is happening on the same day, January 6th. Okay? They put in the summons and the complaint. They claim the summons and complaint was sent certified mail, which is not service. Does everybody know that that's not service? It is not service. Why is it not service?
Because they didn't come from the sheriff.
No, that's not why it's not service.
Oh.
Who can tell me why it's not service because they sent it in certified mail? Anybody who has started their federal case should be able to cancel. I answered it.
Certified mail is only for employees that waive service.
Boom.
Gotcha.
That's Rule 4. That's Federal Rules of Civil Procedure 4.
There was no service.
So this is certified mail, complaint, and summons is not service. Okay? But on the same day, the judges were like, hot potato, hot potato, hot potato, hot potato. Okay?
On the 5th and on the 6th, they were jumping out the window.
You walked in on the 5th?
Yeah, they trying to run the case in my woman's name. They try to make it out like she was, here by herself. And as soon as I walked in and said, "Oh, what the hell's going on?" They jumped out the window the next day.
I love the a meme somebody posted on your thing with them all diving out the window, scattering, getting under the desk.
I just say, man, you can include me out on all.
Do you guys see what this is saying? The judges and the magistrates, plural. You guys see that? The judges with an S and magistrates with an S of this municipal court hereby recuse themselves.
We are not fucking around and finding out.
We have fucked around. And we got judicial complaints on our ass. Okay.
Wow.
Right, Joe?
Okay, so can I finish my questions now?
Sure.
Okay. So I just want to let you know, I've done a judicial complaint. I've done the bar grievance. And you and I, maybe one of the reasons you said I should go ahead because we actually tried to do, or
It's
at
not
least
trying.
I,
It's application. It's like putting on layers. You file a bar grievance, that's one layer. The next week, you file another bar grievance.
right. Oh, you can't file them all at once. There's a reason to take a week break.
Yes, because you don't want them to deny it all at once.
Oh, okay.
You want them to have to go through the effort of denying it separately a week or 2 weeks or a month later.
Okay. So I'm glad you told me that. Okay. So now the question I also have is on the notes, you say you're creating templates, which I would love to have a template of the disqualified the judge because I've been making my own and I'm not sure all the things. For example, in the notes, it said the Foreign Bill of Exchange is an unlawful procedure in itself. IRS 4506A form has been filed from this court showing you are not tax exempt. But if I don't actually have proof of that, I would
Then you
say
just
that,
delete
right?
it.
You
Just
have
don't
to
put
worry
that
about
part
the
in. You
court.
can't make
Yep.
assertions you didn't
You
do.
don't have to worry about the A form because we already know that they're not government. We didn't know before. Like I told Malika the other day, it was on my fucking court website that says we're not government.
So he filed the 45 or whatever form to get a letter back from the IRS that says that courthouse is not government. However, what he's saying now is he went to the court's website and they have a banner that says we're not government. So he didn't have to go through that. So just delete it.
Okay.
You
Got
have
it,
to
got
make
it.
sure, because see, you guys are looking at the notes he wrote and you're not actually looking at the notes that are in here because the notes that are in here only tells you the parts of the codes you can use. You got to apply some common sense. When it's a template and it's made off of someone else's case, now you're thinking, how can I modify my case to be exactly like this person's case? That means that you don't comprehend what it is that you're doing and what it is your point is.
And the only thing you're ever dealing with is a presumption, assumption of contract, because that's all they're trying to administrate.
Yeah, but
Minimal
forget about
content.
that. They're confused looking at a template that you to know, okay, this part don't apply to me. I can just delete it. I don't have to find a way to contort my case to fit
Right.
what's in the template. And this is
Right.
why a lot of people don't like giving y'all templates at all, because people seem to want to turn their brain off and then just switch the
Not you,
names and send it
not
off.
knowing.
You got to have your whole mind in there to be able to
That's
say,
why.
okay, this part doesn't apply to me, but this part
Right.
does. So I'm going to use it.
And that's why I said if you ever get jammed up, if you know this shit, it's just 3 codes, 3 fucking codes, and then the warrant against the Constitution, and you knowing if the judge is a licensed attorney or not, just for some extra backup. This shit ain't. It's like 1 page. So once you get that shit down, as second, you can just spit it secondary nature. Then if you get hemmed up and go to jail, then you could just spit this shit. When you get called up. Judge, are you trying to establish a fiduciary relationship?
Yep.
Oh, well, you're gonna need to recuse yourself. All right, let this motherfucker go. Period.
Okay.
I put in another code just so you guys can see. So since we last spoke, I added this one because it's specifically talking about bias and prejudice of the judge.
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, like I said, I've been using the same 3 codes.
Yes.
I mean, I don't care. I mean, do it to each his own. But all you gotta do is know those 3 codes to fight at the fiduciary relationship.
Again,
you got a straw man.
Charles, let me just say this. The reason why I'm adding this code is because not everybody is operating as a defendant.
Right.
Okay? So when people are trying to disqualify the judge, it's not always because of the opening of a case without a fiduciary relationship, but it's still about disqualifying the judge. This is why you have to bring your whole mind. If you are the defendant, then you don't necessarily need this part. But if you're the plaintiff, you might need this part. Because if the judge in your case, even though you are the plaintiff, is still calling you a sovereign citizen and allowing the attorneys to call you a sovereign citizen, they might be some bias and prejudice.
That's what I was saying. If you're locked up, because obviously if you're locked up, you're not going to be the plaintiff. So
correct.
So on that note, that's what I'm saying. If you just know it's 1 page, it's 1 to 2 pages long, 1.5 pages long. That's not that much
No,
information to
it's
know.
not.
And
It really doesn't
we
have to be
already
more
know.
than 1 page, and that's because you might be actually putting in the definitions. But if you just reference the code, it's absolutely going to be only 1 page.
And he's got a good point because you know, I only use 3. I use one USC 1, one USC 2, and 97-2A because that's their shit.
Of
And
course. I
I'm
mean,
not
we
a-
always use
yeah.
their shit. That's why when people get mad that we're studying the codes, I'd be like, kiss my ass. That's why you
Yeah.
guys are losing.
But you know, you got a straw man. Everybody knows
Yeah.
you got the straw man. You got the person. So in order to represent that person, other than you, then you need my authority or the treasury.
Exactly.
It's
So
that
when
simple.
you're a defendant, they're trying to put you in the case. Absolutely, they're acting under this already. They're already acting in a fiduciary capacity already. Okay? So, but I added
could just
this
swipe
because
on
like
the
I keep
trustee.
saying, you can disqualify the judge whether you're playing defendant or plaintiff.
Well, Charles is saying, get your hand out of my puppet's ass.
Yeah.
If
Okay, does
No,
that
if
answer your
it-
question,
Okay.
Aza?
if
Yes,
it
but
does
I have
not
one
fit,
last
we
one.
must acquit.
Okay, what's your one last question?
When we were talking about whether to put this in as a motion or as a notice, and whether it should go to all parties or specifically to the judge and write something in special chambers or secret chambers, I was wondering how, if the motion to show no authority of the attorneys can go to all parties because it's a motion, but should this one, I just want to clarify, should this disqualification of the
If you're the
judge
defendant,
only,
if you're the
Yeah.
defendant, private notice. See right here, the very first thing.
right? Okay.
It doesn't mean that you can't carbon copy other people though. So that the dummy knows, okay, I got the Secret Service on you, I got the FBI watching you, I got the Administrative Office of Courts watching you.
Right. Okay. And is this document in lawful living somewhere? This one you're showing
No.
right now?
No.
Okay.
And
Is
even
it
if
some-
it was, it wouldn't have this on there. It wouldn't have the bottom stuff on there. And I'm gonna
Okay.
say it again. Go donate to my boy McReal on Cash App if you can, if you have it. If you appreciate
Char-
what he's sharing here.
Charles, I would love to donate to you. Would you be willing to kind of look over my disqualification notice, just to kind of confirm everything's cool? Would that be cool with you?
I don't know if
Charles?
he's still on. Send him a message. If he's not
Okay.
on, send him a message.
I'm
All
stuffing
right.
my
And I'm
face.
also, I'm sorry, what?
I'm stuffing my face. Yeah, I'm listening.
No, I was just wondering if I could donate to you and get you to just review my disqualification notice.
Yeah, I got you.
Okay, cool. I'll message you.
Awesome.
And I'm also putting all the bar numbers of all my attorneys in the case too, to say how they're compliant, accomplices together in the crime.
Awesome.
Yeah. Okay, and that's it. Thank you.
You're
I yield.
welcome. Glad to help. Ma, go ahead with your question, comment, emotional outburst.
Hi, thank you for your service, Malika.
Thank you for being here.
My question is, well, I have a case that's going on for a year. It's an eviction based on not providing a lease renewal, but it's all based on fraud because
Is it public housing?
no, it's rent stabilized housing.
All right, great. What I'm going to recommend is that you take make a donation to get into the rent-free class and take the evade eviction course that we just did about a month ago.
Well, what I wanted to ask you is because this case has been going on for a year, and I had put in paperwork from the beginning.
Any
with-
of the paperwork to disqualify the attorney?
No.
Okay,
because
was
I
any of the
found out-
paperwork to disqualify the judge?
Well, in a sense, because I put in a request for a delegation of authority from the judge. I defaulted them because they never answered, but I sent it 3 different times and they never answered.
Okay, so did you do a counterclaim using the fact that they did never show their delegation of authority? Did you do a
didn't-
counterclaim in the case, naming the judge and attorneys as counter defendants?
What I did was I did put in my default judgment, I did create a caption where I'm the plaintiff and they're the defendants, which
But
includes
creating the caption and calling it something other than a counterclaim is not, in fact, a counterclaim. You want to
understood.
do a proper counterclaim where, yes, you name yourself as the counter plaintiff, you name them all as the counter defendants, and you don't call it a motion or to disqualify or anything like that. You call it a counterclaim, and you put in the reasons why the case should be dismissed, why they because they didn't show their delegation of authority, and why they should be stricken from participating in the case in your counterclaim. So that's when you want to say no proof of delegation of authority, no proof of subject matter jurisdiction, no proof of in rem jurisdiction, no proof of personal jurisdiction, no proof of subject matter jurisdiction. If I didn't say that, territorial jurisdiction, sorry.
Well, what my issue is this: when the case first began, I put in a motion to dismiss. First, it was a command for dismissal,
But
and they
you
said
understand the problem. I know you want to explain your story, but I'm trying to get to the answer to your problem. If you didn't disqualify the judge right up front, if you didn't disqualify the attorney right up front, that is why you're still having a problem.
Okay, so you're saying
So
just
since you did not disqualify them up front, but you attempted to do for the delegation of authority, now you want to put in a counterclaim.
Yeah, I'm gonna put the counterclaim in per what I've been hearing and seeing on your on the lawful living and the notice to disqualify. But my issue is this: if I know for a fact that the quote unquote judge is an attorney because I pulled her bar card and her bar doesn't expire until January 2024. I also pulled the bar card of the attorney for the so-called landlord, and it's just an entity. It's not a person.
Doesn't
And
matter.
the person who is signing for, who initiated the proceeding through the attorney, is calling herself a managing member of the LLC. But what she did was she made a false statement. First of all, she admitted that she was not the owner or the landlord. And then she made a false statement saying that she never received the lease renewal, which she received the lease renewal because what I did was a technical. I sent them back the lease renewal, but I said all rights reserved, and I made these changes, and they didn't want it based on that. So they started the proceeding to evict based on the fact saying that they didn't get the lease renewal. So basically, it's fraud just from that. They also pretended to notarize documents which were not notarized and sign things with a Word app instead of a signature. But I mean, I said all that to say that I put in the motion to dismiss initially, and I know you're saying that it's based on the disqualifying. So at this point, you're saying just do the notice of disqualification and the
Counterclaim.
not do a motion?
In your counterclaim, you can include all of the facts here in a disqualification. In a counterclaim, you put in all of the reasons why the case should have been dismissed. That is the purpose of your counterclaim.
You were never served either.
Again, if I were to do a counterclaim, I would have sections that say, okay, then that's why I told you to get into the class so you can see that a lot of times, if you're not putting in the disqualifications, you're just writing a bunch of bullshit. I'm just telling everybody right now. If you don't put in for a disqualification of the judge and the attorney right up front, it doesn't matter if you call it other things and you're putting in 50 pieces of paperwork. It doesn't matter.
Because they take like that first step as the promise to pay, the engagement. If you look up engage, look up the engage today.
Nothing else that they say. Oh, the contract, like what name they're calling themselves and all this shit. Like none of that matters. So I'm showing you the landlord-tenant eviction federal jurisdiction counterclaim and complaint that we put together for that class. When you get into the class, you'll be invited to this document. And when you get to the general allegations, that's when you get to start talking about shit that matters. Okay? You talk about the fact that they're trying to evict using a corporate code. It doesn't matter whether or not they have the lease. They're using a corporate code. How do we know? Because all the codes are corporate.
It doesn't matter if they made a false statement because you don't want to engage like that. You just want to disqualify them. We don't give a fuck.
You
what
want to disqualify them. That's right. Show me your delegation of authority, or else I don't give a fuck what it is you're talking about. You cannot care what they're talking about, what evidence that they're submitting and all this stuff, if they haven't even proven they have authority to act. So this is the document here that you get. We show you that they're enforcing the National Housing Act in their state codification. And if they're enforcing the National Housing Act, they better show they have delegation of authority from the Secretary of Urban Development, or else it doesn't matter what it is that they're talking about. So we have the counterclaim here. You go through it, you add the stuff that you need to add. On this day, I asked him to show a delegation of authority from the Secretary of HUD, and he didn't show it. Okay?
Hashtag, did you holler at Marshall Fudge and them?
In your affirmative defense, in your affirmative defenses is where you say They failed to state a cause of action. They failed to state a claim upon which relief can be granted. Insufficiency of process, like Trinity just said, because they didn't have a summons and a complaint together. Insufficiency of service because, like we showed you where it said in Joe, they said they mailed it to you, and that's not service. Lack of personal jurisdiction because they haven't showed that the code that you were bound to the codes, that the codes are applicable to a private man or woman. Lack of subject matter jurisdiction because without the foregoing stuff, you can't have subject matter jurisdiction. Since your eviction codes only are applicable to public housing, which is why that was my very first question, they can't have subject matter jurisdiction if it's not public housing. Okay? Lack of territorial jurisdiction. That's what we talked about in the beginning with the sheriff. They're not supposed to be coming to your house because they're only supposed to be on property of the county.
Right? We can't have subject matter if they initiate the case, right? For your
Yeah, they didn't have nothing to initiate the case.
And then I forgot the one with the attorney is 2603. Is it 26 USC? It's the one he's acting like heir A11.
Oh, where he's acting as an heir?
Yep. So they
Yeah,
got
when they name themselves beneficiary, I know CEO Banker is probably going to watch this and hear that part because she
What's that?
actually had an attorney in her case trying to get the judge to name themselves as the beneficiary.
So they both have to go. That makes it so they both have to get permission from the Treasury before they initiate the case.
Correct, both of
On
them.
the bow.
Right.
Well, holla at your boy.
Holla at your boy.
So one last thing, I noticed I was looking through some records at the venue. They have that chief clerk signing warrants of eviction.
That's why I like to put the clerk as one of the counter defendants right there. See right here? State judge, bar fool / clerk that sign. Come on, man. We know what they do. Join us.
That clerk need they hollered at Marsha Fudge and
Marsha Fuzz ain't give them no delegation authority. Shut up, clerk.
How do I
All
get into
right.
the
So I
class?
hope we answered your question, Ma. Get in that
You did.
class.
I just want to know, how do I get into the class?
You donate.
You
So
walk.
just donate to I don't even
Somebody
know.
hook her up with the flyer.
I'm gonna send the
Okay.
collection plate around.
You guys,
Yeah.
To find it
Fat,
jingle. We'd rather have the
fatbaby.com.
kind that's sold.
Fatbobby,
collection.
fatbobby.com.
Okay, so here's the class right here. It's called Rent Free. Usually we have the flyer up. Let me scroll down
Okay.
and see if we got the flyer pinned, which we usually do. See right here, it says evade eviction.
Okay.
This is this right here. Just follow the directions. It's a pre-recorded class. You donate to Malika Mbele on Cash App or Malika SVP on PayPal. Make sure that you include your name, your username on Lawful Living, and the name of the class. You can either use evade eviction or rent free, either one, because it's in the same classroom. When you get added to the classroom, it's going to show up here under my groups. And you just scroll to wherever it is and you add yourself. You'll see it here like this, and then you just click on it. Okay.
that evade eviction is fire.
What do you
Yeah,
have?
evade
Did you have?
eviction.
Did you have
It's
Thank
pretty
in
you.
hands and
weird.
said that like Bob?
All right. Before we go on with question, guys, is Samaya still on here?
Yeah, I'm still here, Malika.
Awesome. I want you guys to, for the last 30 minutes, hear what Samaya has to say. So before you speak, Samaya, I just want to say that the reason, my goal for this year is helping as many people as I possibly can. And hopefully I can infect some of us here on the line to do the same. We have to free ourselves from financial slavery. We have to free ourselves from financial slavery. And in my opinion, freeing ourselves from financial slavery requires us to understand what the financial slavery system is. And I'm saying this because there are a lot of people who teach similar things, at least it appears to be similar things because it's in the law spectrum. But what they're typically teaching you is how to be a better slave, how to cooperate better as a slave so you can feel like I'm being free, but you're still posturing yourself as an agent. They're telling you, you can be free to exercise your God-given rights as long as you create this 98 trust.
Yeah, they're
Or
still
as long as you get this EIN, which I don't understand how getting an EIN is supposed to take you out of EIN or tax status if
Okay.
you're getting an EIN,
They're
which is the
teaching
tax number.
they're teaching you to do
But
better computing,
but I
and
but
they're
I got
teaching
an
you to do higher.
authenticated birth certificate. I got an authenticated birth certificate.
That's what people write to me every day. I have an authenticated birth certificate. I put it in a trust. Why are they still coming after me? I'm like, I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. But
Well, you're
what the
still
problem
calculating.
is, nobody can conceptualize due to compartmentalization how their job, like your actual career, what you do every day, the papers you push when you clock in, we don't know how that is connected to our own financial slavery and that of our neighbors. So Samaya used to work in the district attorney's office for 5 years, and she also used to work in the U.S. district attorney's office for about a year. Is that correct?
Yep, for about a year.
So I want her to
Filed in
speak
1099.
so we can stop the compartmentalization and comprehend how our own job that we might be doing today, even if it's not in the district attorney's office, is still contributing to the financial slavery of ourselves and our brethren and the world. So go ahead, Samaya. When she told me this, I was totally blown away. So what year did you start working at the district attorney's office, and which district attorney was it?
So it was in Philadelphia. Let me think. We're in 2022 now. Jesus. Probably like 2015. Let me
Okay.
think. Yes, I left like 2018. Yeah, 2018, I think I left. So 17, 16, 15, 14, somewhere like that. I'm bad at math, but
Okay.
That's the city of brotherly love, isn't it?
Yeah.
yeah, some loving. Yeah, ain't no
Yeah,
love.
Tell us what you saw back there, because when she told me that it was like the NFL draft, I was like, okay, describe.
Yeah. So I do want to make a real quick statement. At DA's office, we got a lot of that stuff that you guys were submitting or people submitted. At this time, I didn't know a lot about what I know now. But we got stuff with this I am living man and woman stuff. A lot of times we threw that stuff either in the trash, or when we have something called a unit chief, which is over all of the
It's
district
called a
attorneys
what?
of the ADA. A unit chief.
Unit
So your
chief.
so your unit chief is over all of the ADAs, assistant district attorneys. So when we got stuff like that, either we were told to, basically just disregard it, or we would give it to the unit chief. And we would have a meeting. They'd be like, okay, so basically if they're out on bill, we're going to revoke their bill automatically because they're considered a flight risk to us.
Do you guys hear
because
that? Are you guys
they
hearing
they
what she's saying?
that was automatic.
When you
we get
send in bullshit saying, I am a living, breathing, they trash. Okay?
and
I've done it.
and then so that's what something that I just want to say I know personally we did. Like, and when I say trash, what we mean is that like we have in our system ways that we codify things. And when you get codified as that, so basically you probably won't get a ADA just come out of law school. They probably will give it to a unit chief because what they feel like at that point is you're trying to do some kind of flight stuff to be a flight risk. That's how we perceived it. Okay, now you're talking about you're not in our because people didn't say stuff like how we put it in Malika's group of jurisdiction. It came off like you're in outer space in La La Land somewhere.
You
And the
hear
court-
that? Outer space, la la land.
That's how a lot of people wrote the jurisdictional challenges up. It just seemed crazy, like a person talking out of their head. It didn't have any
Yeah.
kind of codes or statutes to it. It didn't have any of that kind of stuff to it. It just was like
One USC,
we don't
one of the
belong
same
here.
persons.
So
That's the difference between saying the record does not reflect I'm a statutory person under your jurisdiction and just saying, well, this shit don't apply to me. Am I right, Samaya?
Absolutely right. I think it was the way people were conveying it that, we can only if you hand me a piece of paper, I can only read what's on that paper. So if you don't convey something or articulate something in a certain manner, then I think you are just saying BS because that's how it reads. You have to understand that people don't know what you're thinking; they only can read what you're saying. I give it that to the jurisdictional challenge. As far as the birth certificate stuff, when I seen in court with my own eyes, when people would come in there and slam birth certificate on the counter, Your Honor, we request to revoke bill if they're out on bail. If they are not out on bail, Your Honor, we are requesting that you remand this person due to the fact we think they're a flight risk because they are,
sovereign citizens they were talking about that stuff back before it
Good luck.
became, became
Good
popular
luck
on
with
social
that.
media now. You know what I'm saying? So I can only tell you what I seen with my own personal eyes. People did stuff like that. I've never witnessed someone slam birth certificate down on the counter and a judge walking off stage. I have seen that. I've never seen it. since
I
I was
did it.
there.
And the
You
reason
want the
why
part?
this, what Samaya
And
is saying is important as well, guys, is because one thing I want to say, I don't know if Samaya wanted to share, but like myself, she was on track to go to law school, become a lawyer, and her main aspiration was to be on the as a Supreme Court judge. So when she started running into issues with law, legal stuff in her own personal life, and she was trying to get help from other people, we'll just say, right? They would give her the outlines, give her template, and she would say, tell them what you said when you saw some people's templates, Samaya.
I was like, man, I can't submit this shit. I go to jail. And I was like, I already seen it before, so I'm like, I can't submit this. You don't have. It's just complete BS. I've already, the people that were helping me didn't know my background, so they didn't know that I seen a lot of those documents before. I didn't see like those exact documents, but I seen a lot of stuff similar, and I know the outcome of sending that stuff to a court.
You hear
I
that?
know the outcome of putting it on as a
You guys hear that? She
I
comes
put
with
that
a
shit
very
in.
important
I put that shit
background
in. I could have
as a
won.
bullshit sniffer.
So I just want to say that my opinion is not the all and be all. I'm just telling you what I personally observed in my 5 years. I like the stuff that people are submitting. I didn't know what it was, right? Because I was still green. I didn't know what that stuff meant, but I know the meetings we had, right? And it was like, especially like certain district attorneys, like they don't have a tolerance for that, right? Because they will look at it like, man, we ain't got time for this. Certain stuff, I believe there are certain things like Charles was saying. There's certain things you send the judges, and there's certain things, in my personal opinion, you put on the court docket.
Yes.
And if you don't know if you don't know which is which, and you put something on the court docket, we already know you're only talking about. Like prime example, in my personal opinion, I'm just talking about what I witnessed with my own eyes. If you submit a 1099 anything into a court case, the lawyers will go back laughing like, what do they? Why would they submit a tax document? The lawyers didn't understand it, right? Now, I'm not saying the judges didn't know what it was. I'm not saying our unit chief didn't. I'm saying the low-level lawyers who just come out of law school, the 88s, they have no idea what the hell a 1099 anything is when we got in court. When they talk about something, you hand them a 8830 form, the lawyers they're not trying to pretend. They don't know. They don't know. They're not pretending to be stupid. They don't know. When you hand them this form, they're like, why the fuck would they be
Just
handing me
say,
this?
But the
We
person
know
understand
it's a
handing the
tax.
form doesn't know either.
They don't know it's a tax issue.
we don't know. Like, I'm just being honest with y'all. Like, so when people give y'all this advice, like, you got to remember who you're dealing with. Like, now, my unit chief, we had a guy do that. And my unit chief immediately came down to the court, and immediately we called a sidebar with the judge. I wasn't allowed to be at the sidebar, but they rescheduled it. They did reschedule the hearing for 18830, and the next time they had a hearing, our unit chief took over, and she was like, Your Honor, we just feel like this person is trying to what did she say, stall for time. And we moved the court to actually move this. It was actually for a drug case, so we actually moved the court to move the hearing up.
She lying.
That's what our unit. That's what our
That's
unit
all
chief
the
did.
drug case is tax issue. So that's
But
all it
I'm
all is. Isn't it?
I can only speak from my personal opinion of what happened. I can't speak from nothing else.
Right.
I
She's
don't.
telling you what's
You know what I'm
happening
saying?
on the inside. It's not whether or
On
not it's right
my
or
inside.
wrong, or if they're
right.
following protocol or whatever. She's just telling you how it goes.
Gotcha.
All right. So tell
Give
us
me
a
one
little bit
second. Give me
about
one
how they
second, guys.
trade the people,
Oh shit.
how they trade cases.
Here we go with the
He said,
stocks.
give her 1 second.
Okay.
Man, that is
Okay, I'm back. So so when I was there, I'll use the analogy of we trade people like it's the NFL draft. So say
Y'all
you
heard
have the
that?
person.
Did y'all really hear that? They trade people like the NFL draft in the district attorney's office.
That literally happened in
So
my case. That's what I want to.
so say we have a person like all right, so attorneys only make money when they have a client that's in court. That's kind of like common sense. So basically, we had a case where we had a guy who was he was selling drugs, but he also was like I guess like before the influencer thing became real big, he was just kind of like known around. So the attorney would be like, hey, listen, guys, you know, we got him locked up. Y'all probably got this guy dead to right, whatever the case may be. But I need him to be out on the street. I can't afford for him to be locked up. So we're gonna call him guy A. So you let guy A go, and the guy B, who you guys been trying to get for a couple of years, and you know, you guys can't seem to get him, I'm gonna give him to you. I'm
You
either
guys
going
heard that?
to talk him in
Guy
to
A is worth too much to the tax system. The guy A is worth too much out on the street because he got money. He's an influencer.
Got a price on your head.
But guy B, he's expendable.
Yep.
Pawning.
So I'm
So
going to tell you when the next drug drop is, right, Samaya?
yeah, we'll tell you when the next, you know, yeah, well, yeah, we'll tell you. So they would do this too. They would call us and they'd be like, listen, so and so got a drop. You know, he's doing it Wednesday at 12 o'clock. I need y'all to pick him up.
See?
Need you to pick him up. And that's
I hope y'all hearing this.
When he gets picked up, the first person he's calling is who? Is his lawyer.
Exactly. And his lawyers who's turning him in.
Lawyers is the one to turn him in because, you know, that's just that's what I say. I mean, that's kind of how it went there.
Somebody said it correctly. Human trafficking.
How many?
You know,
How many times have we heard people in there say it's like they were waiting for me? They knew where I was going to be at.
absolutely. Like you know, and I tell people this, like the cases that I helped make, you know, I mean, I wasn't an attorney, so I couldn't argue in court, but I got, you know, the reason why I was privy to most of this information, I just want to let people know, is because when I graduated undergrad school, I didn't know anything. So I went in there green and I just kind of was like, let me figure it, let me learn, because I was so embarrassed not to have known. I just kind of learned everything. I had 4 attorneys pay for me to go to whatever law school I wanted to go to if I signed a contract to work for them when I got out of law school. So that's the reason why I know this, is because I was very, very good at what I did inside the office. You know, I looked at their briefs. I wasn't that good, and I didn't really know, like, as we call it now, case law, but I knew that the laws they were applying did not make sense to that case. And I would say, hey, this law that you're applying to this does not make sense to this case. You need to switch this case out. You need to switch this case out and maybe look at this case that so-and-so kind of had was similar and look at the laws they applied. So I was considered an asset to them. That's why I was privy to most of, not all, you know, what was going on in these conversations and in these rooms. That's how I was able to.
You was cross-referencing the legality of the.
Right. So yeah, I mean, but yeah, it's when I tell people like the NFL draft, that's not an exaggeration. That's exactly what it's like, and it's no different. It's who is worth more to them at the time. You know, it is what it is. We had the jurisdictional cases with the drug dealers who were not, I guess you could call them U.S. citizens or whatever the correct term would be. Sometimes we would have either the Secret Service come and get those people, or it was the Secret Service or the Marshals. One of the two would come get them. If a jurisdictional challenge came up and the person had money, there's a difference between someone poor doing a jurisdictional challenge and someone with money doing it. So I'll be very clear about that.
Wow. What's the
Those are two
difference?
different things. The difference is their attorneys.
I don't know, man. She said she'd peek in their briefs when they ask you to step in their
Peek
orifice.
in their briefs. Shut
Yeah.
up, Bobby.
Here, step into my orifice.
You know
Right.
what, Bob?
No.
But no, I mean, jurisdictional challenge, I do want to say that when a person has money and doesn't have money versus, I feel like it depends. Also depends if you're a citizen or not a citizen in their eyes. You know what I mean? If you are a person that's considered not a citizen and you do a jurisdictional challenge, you know, and you don't have any money, you can forget it because you won't be right back in that jail. They're not paying that no attention. Versus if you are a person with money, then yeah, you know, we might get a phone call from I think it was either the Marshal Secret Service. One of them will come by and pick you up. But they put you on the plane back to where we claimed you from though. You ain't just staying. I mean, when I was there, they you know, and that's not every case. I can just say what I witnessed. They definitely, if you beat our jurisdictional challenge, and they would say, if the person beats it and we know we can't keep them, they get put on that plane. That's it. They're not staying here. But yeah, I mean, that was just kind of what I noticed. People were. It's definitely an NFL draft. I will tell you that. I will say this. If there is not one person who submit those kind of documents, they don't know who you are. That's just what it boils down to.
There's not one person that submits those documents. That's what?
That they don't know who you are. They already know about you. they know what you know and what you don't know. We knew. Like when people would submit that kind of stuff, we already knew. Our unit chief would tell us, like, okay, if we got a case and at the time I thought it was kind of weird because some cases she'd be like, I'm gonna take this case and I'm gonna prosecute it. You know what I mean? And our unit chiefs don't usually go to court unless it's considered I guess not a high profile case, but a case harder for normal attorneys to handle. You know what I mean?
Wow.
So they know. They like it's nothing
I
would say
hope I
this.
get a unit chief if I ever go to jail.
Yeah, I mean, listen, depending upon how you write your work, they depends, or you know, with the pro se people, I would say it depends upon how you write your emotions and stuff to the level of attention they give you. If your emotions sound like you just talking out your ass, they ain't paying you. They just gonna give you somebody fresh out of law school and tell them to go ahead and take care of you. You know what I mean? Yeah. And another thing is that I want to say this. A lot of times the ADAs, they don't know they're violating the law. Like,
And why?
never, because when you come out of law school, they make you sign this district attorney's office. They make you sign this basically, like, I guess you could say is an oath, but an oath to district attorney's office. And you don't think in your mind, like delegation of authority to prosecute a case. For 5 years, I never once heard one person mention something like that. Never once have I ever heard someone say, which delegation of authority to prosecute this case. I
You're out of
never
there,
heard.
buddy.
So I just say that I don't think a lot of times you don't come out of law school thinking that if you work for a company, they're going to intentionally have you violating and breaking the law. No one comes out of law school.
Yeah, and
thinking
that's
that.
what I keep telling
You
people
know?
too. Like a lot, and that's why I said in the beginning of this call that there a lot of times it's not intentional criminality. They literally do not know because the system will not function properly with the people thinking that they're operating in good faith, actually knowing that they're violating the law. So now, Samaya, I gotta ask you, what is this oath that they take to the district attorney's office? Can we find it online or is it like private?
You know what? I don't. It's been so long. I can reach out to one of my contacts because I don't. I didn't take it because I was not considered an attorney.
Right. But I
So
would
don't
love to
have it,
know
but I
what the
can.
attorney's oath that they take to the district attorney's office. That's I think that would be great information. What do you guys think?
Yeah.
Charles, you got to
I'll
mute,
definitely.
Charles.
Yeah.
I'll definitely ask one of them. I still talk to a couple people that works there. I'll definitely ask them if I could get a copy of it or even what it says. But
But
I'll just say
continue
that
on. They don't know they're violating any.
I will tell you this: it's not. It is never. It's definitely not intentional. Like I can tell you that this is in the 5 years that I've worked in there. I've never heard anyone ask for a motion to show authority. I've never heard anyone ask for a delegation of authority. I never heard, even when I had to go to the civil unit, someone might have filed a complaint against an officer or something. I never heard anyone challenge the officer's jurisdiction that they even had to pull them over. You know what I mean? Like there's just certain things that I never heard being there. So I don't think that when these people come out of law school, they think their bosses will put them in a position where they will be violating and breaking the law. So when you get out of law school, like no one's telling you that this oath that they make you take, no one's telling you that like, oh, well, you know, you got to watch out and be careful because when you work for district attorney's office, they can have you doing stuff. Like no one thinks that, you know what I mean? Like people are honestly there thinking that they are doing a job that they're hired to do. Some people think
They're thinking that they're
helping the
being
community.
lawful and legal, and it must be proper because why else would there be a whole office of people doing it?
It's the absolute real estate. What I was saying to you, Malik.
For a fee.
I hear you, Champ, and I want you to be able to speak on Champ next on Thursday, if you will. I want you to be able to share from
I don't have any
the
more
real
than that.
estate, mortgage, or whatever background that you have.
Raise your
So
right
that was it.
hand.
I mean, that was it. I just wanted people to know that, like, I don't think these people are, these people don't, from what I worked with, right? No one, I don't gets up in the morning and be like, we're just going to violate someone's constitutional rights today. That's not, at least from a district attorney's, at least from, now the police officers, I can't say the same for them. Like, I just can't. I mean, we had cases where they knew they were doing certain stuff. And even like when we got a case that we knew was not right, we would go, we'd be like, listen, we don't want to take this case because we know the cop is just completely lying.
You hear that? We don't want to
We
take the case because we know the cop is lying.
we don't want to prosecute this case in court. This is what we were told. We were told you don't. Sometimes you don't have the choice. There was a lot of people who we would call it a sick day. They would, if they had a case where they knew the cop was lying, they would literally call out of work sick that day because they were not going. They refused to go to court and prosecute it. But the unit chief would tell them you don't have a choice. When the way the cases come in, it comes in through a charging unit. If the charging every time you get locked up, it goes to something called a charging unit. The charging unit looks at what the officer wrote and makes a decision to charge you or not. So if you have a really good lawyer, before the charging unit makes a decision, the lawyer will come in and he will talk to the charging unit chief and say, you guys know this is BS. If you even attempt to file this case, I'm going to come after you personally. Now we had certain
You
attorneys.
see, that's very important that they
Yeah.
know that we know how to come after them personally. We have to get rid of this woe is me attitude. Oh my God, I might have to sue them again. Just do it.
Yeah.
After
Mm-hmm.
you do it once, it's over.
Have you heard of
Right.
escalators? And do they have double books?
I've never heard of any of that stuff when I was there. It like that type of stuff we weren't. So it's like two separate offices. So that type of stuff, like all that, we weren't privy to. We were just the people that just prosecuted the crimes and if you call them, we
It's
call them
penal.
crimes, right?
It's okay to call
Like
them crimes. It's penal.
and
And it's
like
only for
like
officers and agents of the state. It's not criminal like how they try to say it's criminal because it's penal. Criminal
Okay.
is when you kill somebody. Criminal is when you rape somebody. Criminal is when you
Right.
know that's someone else's stuff, they're holding it in their hand and you grab it from them. That's criminal.
Right.
Penal is, you made an illegal U-turn or you didn't put in this for your case or some stupid crap if you're already an agent.
The reason I ask is because somebody told me that the police officers, and if there's too many times for arrests or whatever, they'll keep a separate book and they'll call it an escalator. And so if you try to go outside of that jurisdiction, then they have another set of books that no one can see that's not anywhere in the country.
So what you're talking about in Philly is, I know what you're talking about, but in Philadelphia, so we have a problem in Philadelphia with something similar with what you were talking about. The current district attorney tried to fix that particular problem by saying that certain officers who he tried to get rid of the officers who could not testify for something similar to what you're saying.
No,
It didn't work out for him
I'm somebody that was a temple. I
because
do
of the
that.
FOP, but
Sorry, Samaya. I was trying to mute someone else.
yeah, it didn't work out because of the FOP. But in Philadelphia, so with stuff like that is we have officers who, I think I know what you're saying, who are not allowed to testify, because they have done so many bad arrests or they have just had so many lawsuits against them. So what they will do is they will have another officer, like say this cop
Oh,
punches you in the
Samaya,
mouth.
let me ask you this. When you say a cop has too many complaints against them, you mean complaints filed with the district attorney against a particular policy officer, correct?
Yes, I mean yeah.
Because a lot of people don't know that you don't have to wait for a 1983 case. You can file criminal complaints on people to the district attorney's office directly.
Yeah, you
And that's
can.
why I was
So
saying a few minutes ago,
You can
when
also
you're
do it
talking
with the
about
captain.
taking out the judge and taking out the attorney, file criminal complaints against them in the district attorney's office, file criminal complaints against them in the attorney general's office, do
and
the
also
disqualification.
their internal affairs office too. Like I don't know how
Yeah.
some people got these records. I couldn't tell you, but
You
like
can do them internally so they stay on their jacket, even if they don't get in trouble like sued, like say one of them rough me up. So I can just go in there to the chief and make a
Yes, make a
simple
complaint with
and tell
internal
'em I want it
investigations, which is how come we
and
got
want it on their
that.
file.
That's how come we got Bertiner's car back. All of us called Robert. When I got to him, he's like, "Why is you're the 12th person to call?" I'm like, bye. Everybody complain against them.
I just want to
Yeah,
make a note
I
that
mean-
because of FOP. So yeah, fraternal order, fraternal.
Oh, I'm
or-
sorry, fraternal order of
Fraternal,
police. Yeah,
fraternal order of police.
Just wanted to
Yeah,
point that
so-
out. That was like, oh, the Masonic Lodge, like
Yeah.
So I mean, you can yeah, I mean, so we had officers who could not testify just because they had too many complaints, and so there was a list of officers, and we would if we seen their name on anything, we'd be like, we're not prosecuting the case. It's just this, we're going to throw it out. But what they did was, let's say you had Officer A who's on the list of officers
Okay,
who
so when
cannot
you say
testify.
you see an officer's name, you're not gonna prosecute that, meaning you're not gonna prosecute the officer, or meaning you're not gonna prosecute the case that the officer is bringing.
Case. The case officer is bringing, we not is absolutely not going. Is not if it goes in front of a judge, it ain't gonna be us to do it. It might be somebody else, but we ain't take no.
Okay.
We'll like we would email the charging unit. Like you're not gonna email the charging unit and say that, but you would kind of email like we had like little code words we would use in the emails, and the charging unit
Oh.
they understood what we were saying, and they would drop it. So
Okay, so that's like us at the bank. Sometimes people would call in and they're like, I need to speak to your supervisor. But when we call a supervisor, you know what the supervisor asks us? Do you think I should give them what they're asking for? The supervisor's asking us.
Right.
And we get to tell the supervisor, yes, I think you should give them what they're asking for, or no, because they were being a stupid bitch. And our supervisor will do what we tell them to do, even though they are the supervisor.
But
And the
there's
only
no,
reason that's happening is because the only reason we're sending it to the supervisor is because whatever the customer is asking for, it's not available on our screen. It's only available on the supervisor's screen. But the supervisor is going to do whatever we tell them.
Hashtag speak
right
phone.
And this is
Say
at a
again?
bank.
Speak in
We're
it-
not following no law. As soon as the supervisor say, "Do you think I should do it?" and we go, "Yeah, you should do it," the supervisor be like, "Yeah."
So would you say yeah because who called was speaking in an intelligent tone?
Yes, because I
Yeah.
used to have people call me. Thank you for calling Wells Fargo. This is Malika. How can I help you? Well, y'all are racist against me, and I went to cash a check, and it's because I'm sorry you're experiencing that today, but how can I actually help you? I need to speak to your supervisor. I'm looking at your account. You need to speak to my supervisor? Okay, I'm gonna transfer you to the supervisor. Hold on. Hey, Stu. I got this guy on the line being an ass, talking about I'm racist.
I hope
I don't know what
everyone-
race he is or what race he think I am, but we're racist, okay? I don't know what's going on. You think I should give him a thing? No. Transfer.
I hope everybody's
Um,
taking away from this as she's explaining to you that once your reputation precedes you, they know one, you're either an easy target because you're going to fall for anything, or two, you're not going to put up with this shit. And when they see your name pop up, if it pops up, they're going to immediately say, no, we're not fucking with this one. Let it go. Let it go.
Yeah.
So
I mean,
think about that.
yeah. So I mean, I tell people this: the system is your paperwork just have to precede you. Like that's all I can really say because
Your
like I said, we
paperwork
have
is
people.
half the procedure.
It has to precede you. Like
Your
paperwork
paperwork has to precede you.
It has to be the red carpet to your
Yeah,
special.
if you've got a good word, if your word is your bond, and you can be trusted that you're being lawful, when someone brings up gossip, that paperwork that you've already put in is gold. Your word is your bond.
And this is why it's so frustrating when we get people who have put in a whole bunch of bullshit already
Mhm.
on the record, and then they come to us for help. It's almost like you tore your drawers already. You got a big smear back there. I don't know what we can do to help you.
It's a peep show.
Basically, if it's you're done touring your drawers, it's a peep show now. Everybody can see your
But I-
skid marks.
Yeah. I will say this. I will say this. I will say that if you have problems with police officers, I will say that one thing I did learn through there is putting the complaints on paper because is one. Now, I didn't know this about the insurances, and I'm kind of curious on how this works. I know there's a lot of officers, especially in the city of Philadelphia, who have a lot of complaints, and I'm just curious on how they're. After learning what I'm learning here, how they're still able to actually be on the force because of all those complaints, I don't know how I didn't hit the insurance. That is one thing I'm still confused about. But I will say that I tell people all the time, like, if you have a problem with an officer, even if you can get, people that you know to put complaints on them, it actually helps because at some point the officer will have no credibility. He can't testify in court. He'll
Boom.
have.
Do you guys
we
see
had
why it's
in-
so important for us to get together? This is one way we can help each other without having to go to somebody else's court case. If we can just do judicial complaints, group bar grievances. When you're bar grievance someone, you post your bar grievance, everybody can copy your bar grievance, put their name on it, and send in the same bar grievance.
Because it fucks up
Love
their
it.
insurance, their captive insurance at that. I yield.
This is one thing that we can do to actually help each other in a communal way, to where, again, you don't have to feel like you got to read somebody else's complaint. You got to stand next to them and help them fight. Because I know I keep going back to Joe's post. I know I keep going back to his post, but the reason why those judges recused themselves is because he did judicial complaints on them. Is Joe on here? I want you to speak for a little bit, Joe. Thank you so much, Samaya.
Thank you,
You guys appreciate
Samaya.
what she had to share?
Thank you.
Yes, that was awesome.
Yes.
Yes. Dollar.
Yeah, that was incredible. Thank you.
This is why I took so long to put together the flow chart, because some of the things that we have to do first, it's not one thing to do first. You got to disqualify the judge, disqualify the attorney, judicial complaint, bar grievance, criminal complaint with the district attorney, criminal complaint with the attorney general. That's 6 documents that you need day one. Then if you can get your friends to also, your friends-in-law to also do this, that's why I was asking, anybody else doing bar grievances? Anybody else doing judicial complaints? We're going to start giving out shirts for the people who do the most. And let the people who don't have shirts, yes, participate, okay, my people? We have examples of judicial complaints in the folder section. We have examples of bar grievances in the folder file section. We have them. You can find some online to modify. You don't just have to use the ones we have on, because it's not about how perfect it is. It's about getting it in when it comes to the bar grievances. They don't have to be long. Just don't put stupid shit in there that you're not confident about. If you only confident about 2-3 sentences, only put that. All right. So I want Joe to speak, and then we're gonna go, guys. I know we're making it kind of long, but I hope that people are appreciating the information and the fact that you can come back and listen to it, even if you're not able to stay for everything.
Yes.
Okay, so these municipal court judges recusing themselves from hearing this case due to conflict of interest. Joe, I want you to tell us, is any of these the head judge?
Yeah.
Which one is the head judge?
Elam.
Elam. Okay. And so who is Edward? No, he's Elam. Who is Joel?
That's the only other judge in the court.
Oh, so there's only 2 of them motherfuckers and both of them recused themselves.
Yep, I never even seen the other one.
It did the SpongeBob. It was like, all right, I'm gonna head out.
So you out? All right, we out.
So Joe sent me a message. He's like, I never got this far before. What do I do now? And here's the thing. He's in the beginning. We don't move from the beginning.
Wow.
Nothing.
We don't move from the beginning. Because now somebody asks, so is the case dismissed? Who gives a damn if the case is dismissed? Who cares? Who here cares if the case gets dismissed if there's no judge willing to prosecute?
Or they just
Limbo.
Yeah, limbo, 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 limbo.
been backward.
And they asked me, how many cases have I won? I can't tell. I'm like, listen, I can't tell you about how many I won. I technically won
Hey,
them
son.
all. I can't even. They're just still sitting there.
Yep. Lemon.
They're just sitting there.
Limb and Lemon. Limon.
Even the ones that I feel like I did win before the court, I still disqualified the judge just in case.
Hey, so I got a question
Joe, this
about.
is such a big deal. You know why this is a big deal? Every
Yeah.
time they see Joe's name now, even if he's the defendant, what do you guys think they're gonna do?
They're gonna do that shit either right. They're gonna get that authority like they're supposed to get, or it's gonna happen again.
Charles, how are they gonna get the authority?
And the answer is window jumping. Final answer.
I'm talking about on a new case. A new case.
Yeah, I'm saying, how are they gonna get the authority on the new case? You think suddenly they're gonna be like, I think I'll pay the taxes on this one.
Well, shit. I mean, yeah, hey.
Well, they're not going to get the authority if Charles don't bend over backwards and go under the bar. Limbo.
Hey, if they get the authority, then he better bring in all his bills.
Yeah, they pull you over, Joe. You gonna ride around with your bills in the car?
And handle that bankruptcy like it's supposed to be done.
Joe, you gonna ride around with all your bills in the car? Switch them out every month, just in case
Shit,
they pull you over.
He'll be done after one more ticket. You'll have everything paid off.
Okay.
Just go get one more ticket and then take all your bills in there and see if they do it right.
He got arrested at a gas station, not even, I guess, temporarily arrested, and the cops already know his name. They were like, "All right, peace out, Joe."
Hey, I'm gonna tell y'all right now that that internal complaint. I think that when Samaya came on talking about it, I can verify that the next time I seen them, like he didn't want to look at my eye. My woman was still in the block. I left the block, and he was there to kick somebody else out the room. And as soon as I left the block, he jumped out the car and was like, "Hey, you gotta go. We gotta go now." Like he didn't even want to be seen on the block with me. When I picked the block again, he was pulling up. He's out of there.
Somebody told him something. Don't talk to that one.
Joe's the new Jenny on the block.
This is such a big deal, my people. This is, I mean, only the whole court, the whole municipal court recused themselves. And he's the defendant.
They ain't even named me.
No.
Yeah, they don't want to pay that. They don't want to pay that nothing.
Isn't this what everybody wants? They see my name. Everybody's trying to get on the do not detain list.
Yeah.
That shit does not fucking exist.
The do not open the account is the one that's that.
Yeah, don't open the account. Because this right here is proof that you're on the do not touch list. This is the proof.
Right. Just open the door and let
There's
him in.
no everybody else telling you that bullshit about I got put on a do not. How the hell you know? How do you know? When did you get judges to recuse themselves?
Somebody's knocking at the door. Somebody
In advance. They like, we don't want none. We don't want, they served us something on a complaint today. How dare you? I recuse myself.
The do not court list.
Yeah.
That's what you got. That's what you got, Joe. You had the do not court list.
Yeah, they can't come a calling because they can't.
So you did an internal complaint. Tell us about the complaint because I think people need to hear about the complaint.
Yeah, that's gonna
Well,
run
that was
over the
something
other
different. That was when they got arrested me at the gas station. I did that internal complaint, and I never seen them cops again. I can say that much.
And so that was when you did a complaint with the with internal investigations on the police.
Yeah.
But tell us, did you do a complaint on any of these judges?
All I did, I did on one and one magistrate, but they only got 2 judges and 2 magistrates, so that's half. That's half of them. I also put in a risk management claim in the name of my in my woman's name because it seems like they're trying to use her name now because they can't use mine.
Oh, they can't use yours. So you got to get her on the same do not court.
Yeah, so I'm gonna start over with it. I put the claim in the risk management. So I might have low key dry snitched on their ass when I did that.
Yeah.
Because I named them all like, yo, these people is holding out to enforce state statutes. So, I'm assuming they state employees. And of course they got right back. They ain't state employees.
Yeah. They over there private.
They over here hoping you don't ask. They over here hoping that you just be like, oh, I got a court date on the here you go, on February 3rd. That's what they want you to be telling us. Answer date, February 3rd. Nah, bitch, it's canceled from the 6th.
And that's state risk management, right?
Yeah.
I might have to go back and do some more of them just because, just on GP.
Charles, you figure they're not sending it to you in the mail, so you gonna go knock on their door. Hey, I got a complaint for you.
Send a nice little email and a doc over to the risk management over there because I already did it once. I did to the shit.
Okay,
sheriff.
so you guys are hearing Woman and everybody else dealing with these judges and stuff. The agency that they work for have internal complaints. The agency they work for have internal complaint departments. Complain on their ass. You don't have to just wait till federal court. You can do administrative claims against them. And you can do criminal complaints with the sheriff. Holly, Oh, he about to get it.
Uh-huh.
I love y'all. Peace.
So
Yes,
Malika, what is that the kind of thing you would add to the flow chart? Does internal complaints as well as the
it
risk
would be right in
management
the
complaints?
beginning, right there next to judicial complaints, bar grievances, challenge to the delegation of authority for the judge and the attorney. All of those stuff is the beginning.
Is that a flow chart you have made or you're in the process
No,
of
I
you're in
have
the
not made
process?
it
Okay.
because we've never actually gotten for people to stay at the beginning. Everybody think, oh, I got a court date. It's like, what? How the fuck you got a court date? When you start working for the state, when you, oh, I got a court date. Who's the plaintiff? The state of blah blah blah.
But why can't you make the flow chart? You're just saying that you're spending so much time with people who have gone beyond the
No,
beginning.
no, we haven't been able to identify the beginning until right now because usually people already show up talking about I have a court date. That's not the beginning. Okay. So the flow chart has to start from the beginning, and I'm trying to help people get to the beginning. The beginning is I'm not a slave, so I had to give consent to be communicated with. Where's the consent? Oh, you can't show it to me? Where's the consent? Is the show a delegation of authority. They can't show that. Criminal complaint, judicial complaint, bar agreement. You understand? Right off bat, because putting in those complaints when he had a prior issue is what got this result. That's why I need everybody to understand.
Can I, Malika, real fast jump in? I raised my hand, I lowered it, but somebody might be in the front of me, and I'd be quiet on that one.
I know, but we're gonna have to cut it here because we've been going a while.
Just one quick question, please, please, please.
But I got 3 hands up. So
Oh, okay,
do I
never
take
mind,
your
never mind.
question? How do the people with their hands up feel I take somebody else's question?
I got you. I'm just go in the group chat and post what I'm asked, and that
Okay.
way everybody get to
Yes.
practice with it.
So if I
Thank
didn't
you.
get to answer your question, guys, I
No
apologize.
problem.
I hope you guys enjoyed what we did share. I know a couple of people had to log off because we've been on a while and they were on their lunch break or whatever. But I'm gonna stop the call here. I don't want to overwhelm you.